Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield and I'm a professional dance choreographer and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States. And we are here, I believe, taking a look at the final challenge analysis for Stage Fighter, the personalized choreographies of the top 20. Now, I did want to make a statement here prior to the start of the analysis because I just wrapped up watching the episode, and if you do not know, spoiler alert, Mugan is no longer a part of the show. He left on his own accord due to personal reasons, and based on what he was saying, a lot of it stems from, I think what one part he mentioned was the stubbornness. He's like, you can hate me together for the fact that you can't change my mind. Like, he was so real for that, you know? And I wanted to take this time, regardless if Mugan ever watches this, I wanted to say that I apologize if I was not able to be as best of a steward of my analysis for him. In ways that could possibly have been more encouraging. Because at the end of the day, for me, I do take what I do here very seriously, in the sense of there's a lot of weight of responsibility behind it. And there's a lot of stress that happens in a lot of these shows. And I always want to be fair, be as objective as I can be, but also I want to still treat them as human, so I try my best in that. But also I want people to feel safe and appreciated and for what they do. And so this is mostly a public declaration of, I'm sorry if I was a contributing factor in that in any way. And if there's ever a time where we cross paths, I would love to know how I can be a better steward of Mugan, your movement quality in the future, so we can celebrate it more effectively together. And for anybody who pursues the show structure like this, if there's a way that I can be better at advocating for those in these ways outside of what I'm doing. So I do take that very deeply, and I want to just recognize that Mugan was a fantastic mover, and regardless if he feels that way, I know that a lot of you guys would agree and share that same sentiment. And so I, as much as I was really, really looking forward to seeing his perspective here, I humbly respect the choice that he made to leave on his own accord in the Mugan way, which was really cool. So I wanted to take the time to talk about it here before moving on. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get into it. Our first dancer, the empty space after you left, which I thought was just a crushed sprout, now blooms in a different form, a tender and beautiful ripple. If you and I had loved each other just as we were, would you give me this flower willingly? So the track's called Everything, and it's by Kang Yong-ho. Here we go. Let me just do a little dial back. The patience is gorgeous. I love that pulse at the end. Wow, and he chose to go on the offbeat. That was really, really beautiful. Beautiful. And of course that sound is really funny, but beauty. I don't know if you caught it in my intro, if I mentioned it there, but I'll mention it here. I have zero intention of being critical. I'm not really like super critical anyway. I'm constructive, I think is going to be the more appropriate word here, because at the end of the day, we're celebrating the beauty of what these men have chosen to do and showcasing their growth and their progress. So why should I sit here and workshop solutions? This is their choreography. They've expressed justification for their choices, and we're here to celebrate the artistic perspective that they've chosen to bring. So red lights mean we got a ballet representative here with Kyungho. We know this. And as much as I love me a good nickname, we're going to use their government names here. So I like the fact that he's holding and walking. Feels like he has somebody lingering, right? He lets it go. He looks at the hand, moves it to the chest. I love the fact that he's looking at his hands. We've talked about this quite a few times, but I always love to bring it up just in case if this is your first time with me. Anytime you see an individual who is doing choreography and they're looking at their hands, same with freestyle. You as an individual watching, where are you going to want to look when you're watching somebody do this? You're going to want to look where they're looking to, because they are the one that is aiding and guiding us with the music through their movement to help tell whatever story they want to tell. And so here, because he's looking at his hands, it makes us intrigued. He had his hand closed, it opened, he looked at it, he brought it in. Something's important with that hand, and because of context of what we just read in the description, we're able to really truly see and appreciate what that intention was. The bleed down was gorgeous. The lifts up, I love the passe there, and a nice just openness in the chest. It's very nice. Now, I don't know the lyricism and how he chose to wordplay it if he so chose to do it, but man, what an incredible mover throughout the season. I think it caught most people off guard, especially if you have a ballet background. His type of posture is very abnormal in the realm of the professional ballet scene, because you are so trained in a very particular posture. And you're going to see that with a lot of the other ballet dancers. And so for him to have such a contemporary ballet, beautiful texture, movement quality about him, it's very fun to just appreciate and celebrate. So I want to make that very clearly known. Kyungho is not an average ballet performer in how he carries himself, and that's what makes it really, really cool to talk about. So I love that. The grabbing of the shirt, the reset with the subtlety of the head was gorgeous. The fact that he has so much patience in his own work is truly beautiful. I love that. It showcases maturity as an artist. The fact that your subtleties and your stillness are just as important as the full technical execution-based things you choose to go with. The let go is nice. I love how he shampoos it around. He's sweet, ranajams it through. I love the arms and how he chose to create a nice moment. It goes up, nice range, in, twinkles it in. I love where he's looking. He's looking at those hands, bleeding in. Allows us to see that dynamic and focal point more effectively. He rotates from the wrist. Notice that we close it in and use this to help contribute to the next range, because having an open hand feels different than a closed one. Beautiful. And then he reaches out. I don't know if that was out of nerves or out of texture and tension. It felt like we were going for a vibration of some kind there, which was really fascinating. Beautiful, beautiful range on that. So fun. And then from there, back attitude. Love that with their arm and I think, what is this? What is it? Quad. Back attitude. I mean, yeah, it's just one of the arabesques. Yeah, it reads the accent. I love that little bleed out. It's nice. Beautiful. I mean, what's he going high fifth? Hold on, let me see. Yeah, it's just going to a beautiful high fifth with the porter bra. Come on, all day we can watch that. Into a second position. I mean, would we go full grand? I wouldn't quite give it that. But guys, look at the form on that. It's gorgeous. It's very intentional how he chooses. Look at the lengthening of the foot. He's not crunching those toes. We love that. Look at his posture. I love how it's complementing the angle in which he wants to bring it. The standing leg is nice and strong, and it's bent to show a complementary, not parallel, but it's balanced in his choice. It's so nice and very, very well in the stability side. So fun. The lifts up is nice. The covering of the eyes. And he drops the hands, and then from there he allows the phrase to create breath and to sink down. Then he ends up running, and I love the little flick out. It's beautiful, beautiful. PK, tour jeté all day, baby. And you know what? Who needs it? I don't even think he did a double tour here. Why should you? It's the finals. You've already done double tours for a lifetime just from the auditions in the ballet circuit alone for this show. So I love that. Turns it through. Beautiful. I know they called that a seesaw. Yeah, it's like one of those little seesaws. We've called that a turning switch leap is what in my neck of the woods we would call that. But there's a whole realm of ballet terminology that tailors to men. I've kind of referenced it before, so beautiful there. I love that. Fantastic. The reach is nice. I love the swing through, openness of the chest still present, the lifts of the leg to tie in what he ended up doing in abstract positioning earlier. He goes, I like the flick out with both legs involved versus just one that time. The lift up, beautiful. Sinking down, and then he resets. So he has this little fingerprint of creating an open, not really like an open pocket, a hollow position is what we've called it if you've trained dancers in acro. A lot of times that's a term that is used where you create a hollow position, a carriage, and an openness but firmness in the chest as you lengthen out. That's kind of a go-to that we're seeing him do on certain sounds here, but it creates a sense of familiarity and because he's executed that so well throughout the chorus. When you see it reintroduced, it doesn't feel redundant as much as it feels like we're going through the paces or the ebbs and flows of life, and there's some things that naturally repeat with that, right? There's familiarity behind it, and his context within it is also nice too. The wave out of that is beautiful. Great breath. I would call that more of an allongé than I would a wave, but there I think he ended up doing an en dehors, double PK, and then he did it looked like a pas de chat as he came out of it, but he didn't do any connection in it. It just felt like he just bent both legs. It was fun though, but the setup of where the legs were, you could pull a pas de chat if you wanted to. I like the tension that he's holding through these swings on this. He holds it, boom, and then he goes, nice little breath on that. He sinks down, then he pulses it, 2, 3, 4, hold, boom, and boom, offbeat. So he does the last 2 in the offbeat, and actually 3. I love that. And hey, way to go having little safety pins or something to pin that tie there, so you give that angstiness, but that tie ain't going anywhere. So that, to me, that's a nice little costume cheat you can do if you want to give this worn look, but you don't want it to fly anywhere. You can tack it right here. You can kind of see that right there, right? So well done. Love that. Kyung-ho, hats off to you. I do believe we could see, I mean, if I were to give like who I think would probably make it in the company, who would be in our top, I do think Kyung-ho would be on that list. So I'm just out of courtesy going to write their names. He is one of the top scoring in viewership. I do think a lot of people fell in love with his movement quality from audition. So he became an early favorite, just like Holjong. And I am very delighted that we get to have somebody with his degree of competency in ballet showcase the type of diversity that showcases the beauty of art. It's just so nice. So well done, do sir. All right, next up on our list, we have, well, we're about to see the name of the track, or the name of the routine is called Mad Rhapsody. The reality and life were too harsh for me to bear at such a young age. Hiding my true self, the inner world shaped by external forces, only made me more fragile. In that life, it was the ballet that affirmed my existence. What is ballet? Today on the stage, I want to reaffirm how ballet has helped me heal my wounds and scars. So it is love it, Kyung-won. Beautiful serenade to ballet. Let's go. Ready. I'm glad he made it to finals. Beautiful. This feels, that felt like a gymnastics routine. That was fun. at that. I appreciate the intensity of it. You know, it's very nice. And if you look right here at the bottom, part of me feels, I wonder if that's a dance sock with some of the traction built in. There's a couple brands like Block, and then I know there's Apollo. I own a pair of each of those. And those, they have a traction on the bottom, so it's easier to turn and provide support for the arch, little things like that. So I'm going to hope and assume that's the kind of sock we have there based on what we were seeing in the bottom. But I was really happy to see him make it to finals. He has such a masculinity about his posture and how he carries himself in his port-de-bras, which is the arm carriage. It's just so nice. He's just been such a fun individual to watch this season. Okay, from the top. Also, we gotta give our ballet dancers huge props for the fact they've had to choreograph so much this season. The real winners are the fact that they grew probably more than any of the other styles did in skill sets they would never have had to encounter if they were not on this show. So I love the fact that they have these in their arsenal. They can make these choices, hit some potential musicality choices, which is what we end up seeing here. We're here for it. We love it. The little gong to get us set up. He starts in a very simple first position. He sets it out, different facings with the hips as well as the arms. Very nice. A lot of it is going to be hybrid to some degree, meaning that it's taking a fundamental of a particular, things you would see at bar or in center, and you would see it just kind of hybrid, or whether through timing or through positioning or transition is what I'm noticing here. This just gives that impression where there's familiarity behind a lot of choices, but I couldn't quite pinpoint, that détourné, or that passe or pas de chat. Like, we do end up seeing a pas de chat here, which we'll see in a second, but I like the attitude moments and the switch offs on that, which is nice. Then he goes, and also once again, the little switch offs between the legs, which is nice. Then he goes into a passe. That's a pas de chat that you end up seeing there, which is what I made with Kyung-ho earlier. I said that his was, not quite an actual connected transition like you ended up seeing there, right? So it's very interesting there. I love that. I love the fact that he's using his carriage and his chest to lengthen opposition in that leg that he chose to extend. Beautiful. Love that. So all of this here, it really is heavy on the facing. So definitely gives, I think what? This is a, oh my gosh. Quatrium, nope. Quasi, quatrium, efface, écarté. Efface is what I think that facing is. Yeah, I'm going to go to takes to the back. Look at that. Yes, look at the it's not even an attitude, it's the arabesque. Very nice. And I love his tendus there. He is switching up quite a lot, which I find fun. He takes it through. Really nice. He goes, very nice, échappé, and then he takes it, ding, 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 and he trots it, switching it up on the music, which is fun. Just a simple, he's just doing simple. It's not even a grand battement. It's just I would say, what do we call it? Petit battement, petit small, grand is large, kick, something along those lines. Then he enveloppes it, then he takes it, he switches up the attitude, does the swing. I love that. That to me feels very like stoic masculine matador. It's so fun. Then he does a little shoulder roll, and then I love the little forced arch moment there. The turn, he does a little turning jeté out of that. And those look like, this just looks like just a nice upper body with throws with some glissades. I think it was super fun. He presents. Now this gave me such Olympic gymnast moment. It felt, I was like, I'm ready for you to just pop off here, sir. And he goes, he walks, he preps, a turn, into a gorgeous fouette rotation with a stylized attitude in the front with an extension leg in the back. Beautiful. He goes and expands the arms in range. The flip there. That's not even, no, why did I say flip? Just the resets. Really nice to see there. The swing arms, which is nice. I like the kick. That was a développé. The swing, range. So I like, he does a lot of these presentations, just like with Kyung-ho when we were mentioning how he has this posture and hollow position he likes to explore in his choices. We see a lot of these tendued position that's this one leg very straight and strong with an opposing chest with one of our legs bent and standing to provide more strength behind it. Very fun to see that there. Now that, I don't quite know, where were we going? It just felt like we were, it wasn't a glissade or anything, I don't feel. It just feels like a transition through. Yeah, once again, you noticed, but it was to the other side. I love that. It was just fun. Perhaps beautiful développé out of that. He presents. I really like the fact that he's very nice and strong in the upper body. He walks on tempo all day. Presentation ready to go. Gymnastics across the floor, part 2. Turn, beautiful, beautiful. I think that we call that a manip. Japanese, right? It was like that turning in the circle, jetes, right? So I think that was just he did a turning jete, which was nice. Prepares beautiful, just beautiful leg extension on that. Nice straddle into the roll through. It does have a smidgen, like a touch of modern. It's what it feels like here, right? And then he finishes in a contraction with his legs. Does give the impression he's in sixth position, maybe. We'll see. It doesn't matter. I mean, but this was very, very fun. For me, I want all the members that were watching today, I want them all to be able to make it in. But, that's not how MNET ever works. They can be a little bit on the cheap side. I hope they don't block this video because of my honesty, but that's just the life we're going to call. So, Kim Kyung-won. So I'm just writing the names down. Cool. Well done, sir. Thank you for showing us that. Next up, one peak after another. Even the hill that seemed impossible to cross, one by one, as you walk, as you climb, you cross the Arirang Hill. Okay, so, okay. Cool. And then this is Kim Shi-won. Okay, ready. I love his outfit. He looks like a walking art exhibition. Spoken word. Beautiful. Now, of course, with the Korean dance styles, I can't touch on nearly as much technicality. We can talk about the breath and the weight shifts and the storytelling aspect of it, musicality choices, that kind of stuff, and I'll just use more broad terms. So please keep that in mind if you are not already aware. I'm more of a layman in the realm of Korean dance, but oh, such a fan. Love the commitment to character from the jump, the collapsing. I like the fact that we have a nice stoic position from our prop here. It does give the impression of a child, something along those lines. We do mention of a person, right? Arirang, it feels spoken word with the piano, and then you have more of a, I don't know if it's a chant or just something repetitive going on from more of older voices from women and of men. Very, very interesting. Very fun. So he comes up, his presentation. I do know that where your weight goes in your feet, the balls of the feet and the heels play a very important role in all of this. So I can already tell that we have that intention set up. The breath in the upper body is beautiful. I love how he lets his chest draw our attention, and his head just becomes that secondary flow out of it. It's beautiful. Is there a technique for it? I'm sure there is, but we're just gonna, use layman terms here. And his pants mixed with the mesh of his top just give, what is it? Somebody that I used to know, but think a little bit more posh and a little bit more, I don't know, cultural. I think it's what it feels like. I'm such a fan of it. It's a beautiful color palette here. But the reach towards our prop is nice, so it signifies, a sense of longing and reaching, because when we reach, whether it's through our hand palm flat or palm up, it does tell a subtly different story, right? The reach up is nice. Notice where he's looking. He's also looking up. Then we have an elder postured position here where he has a cane. He has that, oh, my lower back. Normally when you see an elderly person with a cane, they do struggle to stand upright. So this is a really nice postural imagery for us to very clearly see. I love that with a smile. I'm wondering if it's because of the verbiage that's being used here. But I love how he resets it on just the syllables, on how it's being said. Very nice. The turn is nice. The look to a completely different section of our stage is very fascinating. And I love the gives this crippling, I can't control what my body is choosing to break down and do vibe, which is really cool. It showcases a huge degree of control to be able to showcase that effectively, which is what we see here. Rolling on the floor was nice. Reach, reach. I love this extra tension. Well, not really tension, but there's openness, but there's tension through the power of engaging of the lats here as we expand up. And then from there, notice the subtle shift in our plane explored. He melts down, looking like with a little bit of wavering, like you don't have a lot of energy left for this, right? Dropping it down, rolling around the back. I love that rotation through. That gives a modern vibe there too. Subtly comes up, recognizing with the head before we reset upward. The look is nice. Added breath, guys. I'm dying over the breath usage of Korean dance. And being completely honest with you, I have full intention when I go to Korea again. Hopefully this time next year it has happened. I would love to dive into Korean dance. I would love that to be my focus while I'm there, on top of other fun things that I do have planned. I want to be able to dive deeper and understand it firsthand, because it's beautiful to see here. And I know I could probably learn it here in America, but there's just something beautiful about going to where a cultured dance was incepted. It's the same thing as learning hip-hop in New York. Do you know what I mean? Popping in California. So I think there's just a lot of beauty in that. So that's why for me, like, I'm saying that as a declaration here. Hopefully this time next year, your girl has some breath and momentum and movement under her belt that can truly empathetically appreciate this much more. Because I know part of it is there's so much beauty that I can't even articulate effectively like I can in other styles, and I make it my goal. I want to be a better steward of that. So all of you Korean dancers out there, I got you. Love that little sweep around is nice. The reach up is beautiful. The breath, oh my god, I love the freaking breath on this. It's so beautiful. And the lift up, notice the follow through onto the fingers. That's probably something I'm drawn to as well, because in waving there's beauty in the fingers that matters so much, and completing your lines and showcasing your intention on where you want people to look. This tells a huge story. So seeing that here is just such a melted butter experience. I love the rotation around, definitely more of that fixed point with the head, allowing that fullness to happen. I love the patience and how we ended up making it feel very weighty on the tail end, right? And he creates just the flow of that is very nice. Now, I'm normally not one who ties to spoken word themed. I can get with this. So what I mean by a spoken word is normally you have any instrumental accompaniment in the back, and then you have dialogue that happens up at the top. And a lot of times you can tell they don't really, one wasn't made with the other in mind, and somebody put them together. And so that's what this gives impression wise. Now there's a chance this was made with the intention in mind, but I can get on board with this degree of spoken word. This is cool. So the reach is nice, and I love that. Yep, just a lot of really smooth transitions from high to low. Standing, and I love, once again, another reach. More tension there, and then the very quick sustaining reach in is nice. Then he brings it and presents it. Wrists connecting to the head to create a sense of openness with those fingers. Beautiful. Reaching down. Creates a beautiful moment here. I love the usage of the wrist to feel. That's the peaks, right? So one peak after another is what I think arirang. Thinks what it's being said. And arirang, I believe, is a hill or a mountain or something. I believe maybe in Korea. Could be my guess. It does have a sense of familiarity behind it, so forgive me if I'm wrong. But he was showcasing the peaks and the valleys, which justifies the one peak after another. So he goes, doom! Notice a little knock in the percussion. It was beautiful there. Rotating through, another sweep on the ground. I love that. But boom, he resets, melts to the ground, and then he ends up doubling it up. Presents and comes up. I love the usage of a cultural instrument. I don't like it's is it one of the zither instruments? Maybe it could be one of the vertical ones that are played like this. I don't know if it's one of the ones that you play seated. It doesn't feel that way. I really do feel like it's one of the vertical ones. I could be wrong though. Beautiful sound though. The height on that was gorgeous. The roll, transitions out of stuff is just beautiful. The hit, just the extra personification of pain and angst was beautiful there. The reach is nice, and he uses the arm to help shift and promote a forward roll out of it. Beautiful. Comes up. I love the flick on that. The contrast of the upper body with the lower body on that. It was gorgeous. Covering his eyes, and I have no idea what he's saying. I freaking love it. I love it, where it's like he knows, and those, if you know, you know. Like, that's just a beautiful. He goes down and up, and then he goes, looks forward. Love the little port de bras moment he shared there. The weightiness of that ball change was really nice. He grabs the prop. MNET, I mean, as much I want us to keep going forever. It feels like I want to see the rest of the story. Like, it really just pull your attention in that way. And I love the look of concern, weightiness, and his choice and stage presence. It was just beautiful. Beautiful, sir. Oh my goodness. Kim, she won. He has really grown on me. I feel like all of them have, but he definitely has. Since, I believe, the styled, it was before Mega Stage. It was when he was in the very front, that boom. Yeah, I think when MNET started showing more of their actual personalities in the later episodes, or just, you know, good moments, like, I really like his vibe. I think he's fun, and I really like he's able to showcase multiple people's choreographic perspectives quite well, which probably is what was growing on me. Is I love a dancer who's such a good practitioner of refining skill sets in that way that sets other people up for success. So I'm a fan of him for sure. Well done, sir. All right, next up, 11/20/24. Dear, I'm sorry for causing you pain. 나에게 쓰는 편지. So it's a letter. 나에게. Thank you for enduring, for your past, present, and future, for your sadness, pain, and joy. Letter to yourself. I cheer for every moment of yours. Well done. Okay. Oof. Oof. Yu-chan, boy, I'm telling you. Oof. Am I ready for this? Beautiful. That was beautiful, Yu-chan. Goodness. Oh, with the lingering fingers. Oh, such diction, such clarity. Goodness, that was beautiful. Beautiful, sir. Okay, from the jump. Letter to himself. Thank you for enduring. Thank you, sir, for showcasing who you are. I have loved the fact that we were able to get him as a main role finally. You know, I think that was definitely something on a lot of our minds throughout the season, where he was like so close, but then he didn't make it for some unprofound reason, right? So I'm very happy that we get to have this choreo. We had the choreograph from before. We also had him as his main role on Savior. So I'm very, very pleased with this. This is a beautiful way to kind of encompass Yuchan's journey. So I think I love a Pyeonji, a letter to himself, is very fitting for this. So he goes, he grabs. I love that. I call this more of the Oreo cookie effect, at least in the content choice, where he takes the hands and he's kind of embracing himself. I love that. The grab, the fold in onto the fingers. Notice he allows more of the middle part of his finger, using the hyperextension to his advantage on that. He steps back, hitting every nook and cranny of every sound that's being presented on every note. He's hitting that with the fingers. We love that. He steps back. Notice that we have a little bit of fluidity coming in hot on the torso. That's always a beautiful thing to touch on for ballet dancers and for Yuchan. He has such grace about him. I would say his fit is giving coffee shop owner, but very much a rainy day. He looks like a very comforting person, which really ties into the dear myself perspective. It's very well done. I love just the lengthening. Guys, there's beauty in a gorgeous pointed foot, I'm telling you, and he kills it. That was so nice when this weight placement, guys, I melted, where he pulls it from the chest, that da-da-da-da, and how it just sunk on what notes, how they descended. Oh my God, it's gorgeous. Such patience. Oh my God, it's beautiful. Passe through, and I love that Ranajam around. Presentation, beautiful port de bras. And then that right there, oh, he hits it and he resets forward. Such a conversational element on that. Oh, wowzers. Then he ends up shifting it to a different facing. Oh, looks like he's in, I don't know, either first or sixth position. He has black socks on, so I couldn't tell you. Look at the hands. He's looking down, and notice the lifting of the leg. We're looking at where he's going, because where he's looking is not directly at his feet, not directly forward, but a little bit diagonally in front. Very similar to us is when we're looking on a path to make sure we don't step on anything that's going to hurt us. That is what he's giving impression-wise. That's the power of where we look can influence what people are drawn to and focal point. Beautiful. The walk there. I love that he has this accents that are happening with the arms. Beautiful. The attitude. And then he has this little, just the subtlety and this isolation. You can see with all of our performers, all of them, just the fusion and the influence of other styles into their movement quality. And that, to me, I will celebrate that till the day is long. I love being able to talk about it. And the fact that we've been able to go through Stage Fighter together, to be able to very clearly see the contemporary and Korean dance influences, there's nothing short of an honor and a delight. I love that so freaking much. And there, he melts it. So the first time it pulled from the chest, but the second time it pulled from the knees, and it felt more full, a little bit more unhinged, right? Gorgeous. Then from there, it's a bleed over in the phrase where he never stopped moving. He lifts the hands to reset like he's playing a piano. And then he presents his body forward, and he rotates the arm up. Beautiful, beautiful tendu. And then he folds it down to a fourth arm swing. I love the conversational element of just looking, not downcast, but he's looking and contemplating. He's in thought. It's amazing. Then he grabs the leg, flexed into a heel stretch, and then from there he holds it for however 3 to 5 business days if he wanted to. He lets it go. I love how he's looking into the back corner now. The turn was nice inside himself. He presents. I love this beautiful openness of the chest. He rolls on the floor. Comes up. I love how he looks up and over. It's beautiful. Da-da-da-da. Rests down. Weightiness because of those shoulders. You can really see that and feel that, right? Goes to the pike, rolls onto the stomach. Then he presents, brings that body right back up, and then he uses that hand as an anchor point to allow his feet to kind of trot around to get them up. Notice that he lifts, and there's a little bit of this residual effect that happens with that hand, right? And it goes, figure 8 with the head all day, baby. Takes the arm up, folds it down, Ranajams that leg, and he takes it and presses, so he grazes the head and presses it through. Covers the eyes, reveals, and goes into a beautiful back arch. And then he lifts that leg up in an arabesque. Could he pull an attitude? Very, very easily. I love the shoulder flexibility to create this line and it's the personality of just the hands, the stylization of the hands. It feels conversational, but there's energy in them. They're not dead. I love that. Then from there, he looks back at the leg as he chooses to descend it. Come on now. Then he attitudes it, and I love the choice of letting that arm complement the range on that. He comes up, the tension building into the head. He reaches it up. I love the touching of the hand to the face as he goes and draws that hand out. And then there's extra breath joined right back in, so it's not a full descension. He lifts it right back up into... beautiful attitude turn, guys. And he says, let me just follow through on that bad boy. And then he ends up turning once again. I love it, just having that leg at more of the 45. It's gorgeous. Then he brings that arm towards him. He lifts. Guys, oh my God, put that on a t-shirt. That's gorgeous. Gorgeous right here. Look at that attitude, the back attitude with the winged foot all day, baby. Great stylized hands. Beautiful carriage of the body. The drags to the back are gorgeous. I love just the choice of his arms on that. The flow is gorgeous. Backwards roll. I'm telling you, it's a lot harder to do backwards roll than people think. It's very funny watching people who have beautiful forward rolls trash their backwards rolls. So for me, I always find that a sincere success when you can have a really pretty flow maintained in a backwards roll when you normally don't see that in ballet. Ever. So he went over the shoulders. That was more of a shoulder roll we'll give him, but we love that. I love he's tracing the floor, the lift on that attitude fan. He rolls down. There's your little modern Martha Graham moment. We're here for. I love the bump, ba-da-dun. Tap, tap there, and he lifts it with a little attitude, and he sends it back into a straddle. Beautiful. And then he resets, da-da-da-da, and he grabs tendu to finish. Twinkles in the fingers, and he looks up and over and down. Beautiful. Fan-freaking-tastic, Yu-chan. So, I mean, I feel like we have some dancers that are very clear that we can see them in the company, you know. Kim Yu-chan, I would put on that list for sure. Especially if we're going off of these choreos alone. Everybody's justified in their own right, but by golly, that was gorgeous. That may be one of my favorites I will be seeing today. Fantastic job. Loved seeing that. Wow. Next up, Proposal. I opened my heart, went to find you, got closer, and came to know you. Now let's walk the path we are meant to take together. So it's a sense of lingering and longing, okay? So much ballet represented. We love it. Okay, Kim Tae-seok. We are ready, sir. Is this James Arthur? Look at that double tour. Go, sir.
Close, let me be home for anything good or bad.
Wow. Clinton Kane is who this is. Beautiful. He's reminding us, hey, them double tours, I still got it. Yes. Crabs. Aw. What's funny is he ended up grabbing somebody at the end of his, and Young-ho had no one for him. That was a really fun way to kind of book in those little storylines. It was really beautiful. Guys, you see a contemporary influence in this? Because I do. Boy howdy. Come on, Kim Tae-seok. So, Clinton Kane is the name of this artist. He does have a James Arthur kind of tone. I would say James has more of a grungy kind of tone, though. So I really like this. Very angsty. I was not expecting to hear a track like this on these excerpts, which I'm here for, though. He reaches over. I love that. There's a sense of joy and longing in such a beautiful way. I love it. I love. You know, it's beautiful. The lips is nice. Put the arms up and we bleed it down. I love just the presentation of the arms out with a beautiful tendu in the back. Reach up. Look at that. Come on now. The little kick accent on that was beautiful. Turn is fun. It honestly feels like if you forgot the ballet audition, he's going to show you, but in like a on his terms way, which I love. It's so fun. Second position was nice. Then he presents. I love the different facing directions, like the directions on his choices, his hip alignment. Like with ballet, that's something that's really fascinating that you get to appreciate is that whenever they go to a particular direction, you see they're facing, their hips are always turning and calibrating effectively because you do train facings, croisé, à la quatrième devant, devant derrière, effacé, écarté, épaulet. Like there's a lot depending on like, you know, Cicchetti, Balanchine, all that mess, right? But it is such a thing that you are trained to do is calibrate and micro adjust at bar, in center, with partners, the whole shebang. So that's why for me, when I see these little transitions, they don't look awkward because a lot of it is when he's changing his direction, his body is so familiar with how to shift it with hips and posture. And so whenever hybrid he chose to go with, it's going to look more natural, which is really fun. What was it? On Releve was beautiful on that air basket. Very nice fouette with a back attitude. Rolls onto the ground. Notice the pull of the shoulder there. I loved that choice. So if anything, I'm hopeful that all of our ballet dancers, if they do choose to go, if there's some of them are still part of ballet companies, they're able to take these skill sets and be able to, hopefully it'll help them elevate to the next level of a role that maybe they were lacking in skill set, that this really helped them refine. Because having performance and stage presence and movement qualities that are outside of the realm of how your body is trained in ballet can be really good qualities. And the politics side of things with companies can allow more liberties for more positions for you. It's very interesting side, right? I love that conversational element where he goes, he grabs, and then he's kind of just hanging there. I like that he takes the arm and he drapes it down, steps it back. Let's go into that double tour. And he presents that back into the lunge. He comes up the walks. It's like he's opening up. He opened a door to signify home. So I can get the wordplay on this. And we're walking. Notice that we've trotted more forward and look at where he's looking. He's looking out and upwards. So there's a sense of empowerment, hope is what it feels like, right? It's beautiful. He takes the hand. He does a subtle wave. Beautiful. Steps back. Beautiful. Just lengthening of our legs. Turn, so he does double into back attitude, comes out of it, nice susu into a nice just développé of the leg. He turns, I think that was a lame duck, he came out of it, double tour coming out, he presents and forth, gorgeous, and he soutinues out. I don't know if that wasn't a détourné. It was a very interesting way to get out of that. I don't know if it was soutenu, détourné, something like that. Presents out, beautiful, releve. And then this was the menage, M-A-N-E-G-E, right? But he goes the other way, love it. And two, double tour if you forgot, love it. So he has the more qualities, he's only missing that little seesaw moment, right? He presents beautiful port de bras. It's just presentation, I just love the subtlety of it. He grabs, you're the one I love, and he walks. I love the walk with the little just drag on the foot. It was gorgeous. Well done. I have to make sure I have my pen so I can write everybody down. So this was Kim Tae-sok. Kim Tae-sok. Well done. Such a delight to see your growth. I think this was beautiful. Beautiful, sir. Next up, memory, emotion, time, opportunity, and people. The name of the routine. In the end, everything disappears. Everything like memory, emotion, time, opportunity, and people. Okay, I'm game. Hey, Hyun, I'm ready to join the chat. Let's go, sir. That was amazing. That's Haehyun's best choreo by a landslide. Wow, Lord help us. Here we go from the top. God. That was, wow. That was incredible. Incredible. Okay. From the top here. Great stability. The fact he's able to wrap, not just in his upper body, but a contrasting wrapping in the lower body. Conversational statue-like positioning right here. Definitely reminds me of it was like what, there's like a thinking statue. It gives that impression, right? Really fascinating from the beginning. The fact he's able to hold it, slowly let the fingers make him lift up. Now, anytime that your face tends to move in a different direction and you're balancing, you always have a liability and a risk that you're going to fall over. If you've ever stood on one leg and closed your eyes and look, I'm telling you, it can be pretty tricky if you've never tried it. So just the subtlety of the conversational element of that, and not a single balance is out of place. It's gorgeous. The fact he's able to look, contemplate. This right here, boom. The fact we have this little that mess going on in the guitar, and you can feel it. I can see it. The most beautiful, probably one of the best displays of texture on the show, period. Like, this is top freaking tier quality in texture integration, musicality, commitment to character, athleticism. Like, this to me, God, this is, oh my God. I don't want this to go anywhere, but how he ends up taking it, that knee being that kind of point that allows this to go whoa, 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 to seamlessly go into that just lunge position. It's not even a lunge position, it's like a pistol squat, right? But it's different than how he did the pistol squat in the last one. Like, you see so much familiarity, like this position here, the fact he's able to keep it, you know, he's thinking. Very thought-provoking. Then he hits it, boom, presents that foot to complement that wrist and how those fingers bleed out, and then it grabs the face with the flex of the foot, and then he goes. I love the knockdown that helps push that second leg out. The patience is there. It's incredible. It's amazing, guys. The thread is so nice. Whoa, whoa. Every freaking strum of this instrument that you're hearing, you see it. That is musicality. That is art. All of these are art, but Lord, art and music can be so influential and very emotionally pulling, right? And very captivating. This is, oh man, like, it's still, it's not inherently like a struggle to analyze it, but whenever you just appreciate movement quality so much, it's hard to not like have to take that moment to go, God, I love this part, and then talk about it, right? Like, I feel like I've had to do that quite often with him, which he's progressed so much too. Everybody, even those that were already at peak tier quality, which a lot of them were and still are, but even being able to see this here is just, oh man, what growth, sir. I love it. So he presses it back. Notice that he creates and he shifts the weight over to make that more of a contrasting moment in the torso. He reaches over and then he goes into a pike. This part, guys, he's switching it up. He's using and he's doing little beats, engaging the thighs to make that happen, but he's swimming the feet in a sickle. Now, sickle is, there's a turned out, and then the sickle, it's an inversion. And a lot of times we tend to want to be conscious of avoiding that. In contemporary, you see it a lot more because it showcases that sense of angst, and you can tell a lot of stories in your texture, right? But in ballet, that's like unheard of. You don't do that, right? So I love the eye contact he's giving, the flatness right here. The fact he's able to get it shifted over, and he lets his body be influenced by that. So the amount of control in the lower part of your core to make that happen is phenomenal. Then he sweeps it around to the other side. Like, I got pretty emotional watching this. Just, oh God, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And then from there, he extends that leg up and he allows the body to just have a nice legato coming back up on it. He comes up and uses this extra little prep, an extra lift on there to create a moment. And he melts it in. He hinges it around and melts it in. And then he piranha jams it through, and through the usage of having a sock, it creates a really nice kind of lack thereof traction to have that extra slide to get him reset here in a prep. The lift, there's so much unpredictability about his choices, because up until this point, we've seen his choreography more than most people. His choreo won in the very first choreo draft for contemporary, even though he wasn't the main feature. His choreo was used. Choreo draft he was selected for. Whenever you see from the, oh my gosh, was with Old Boy, his choreo wasn't selected there, but it was just as much of a contender. Very notable. And then seeing this here, oh my God, like freaking art. Like, oh my God. There's some, oh yeah, see, like I couldn't even finish my thought because I was too busy just thinking about how freaking great this is. So we have a lot of saturation in his movement quality. So seeing from the Taemin featured track to this, there is familiarity in the pistol squats and how he chooses the thread over, his communication with his face, his flexibility, his power, his sustaining, his balances. We're very familiar with that. And so we have a certain degree of expectation. We also predict some of his choices that he may make too. Like there's a thread that he ends up doing in a transition that is from Dash that we did see there. And just the fact and the privilege of when we go and he does a setup like he's about to do a Valdez or a capoeira, and he just sends his legs out in a not even a pike or anything, but he just sends them out both straight and he collapses out of it. There's just phenomenally majestic, heavily balanced and structured and stabled choices that he chooses to go with that in our head we don't predict. And even if we've never seen it before, I wouldn't predict either. And that to me is probably one of the most impressive facets about what we're watching here. Phenomenal, guys. And how he molds it over, and the commitment to the torso, the fact he's letting his lower body and his lower core control so many of these choices, and the fact he's not even looking, so impressive of the fluency of this movement. He comes back up and he goes da 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 da. So he goes down into a split. He uses his arms to help rebound to come back up, and he comes up and then he descends down, showcasing, I think on both, does he do a split on both sides? No, he does it right. So he just does a low ball change. So it's cool. It would have been sickening if he ended up doing right and left split. But I bet you probably could pull it. But the reach over on the third one, so the power of threes, he does the same thing twice. But you have that doom, 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 doom. Really fun. The reach up, he grabs the head, and then he goes. That little thread through, we've seen that in a rotation traveling over to stage right. We've seen that before, but I love it. It kind of feels like it's a hello, old friend. It feels like that, and I love that all day long, baby. And then he takes it, he envelopes that leg to get those arms still connected to finish the thread out. Comes up, goes, not even a shimmy, it's just a collapsing of the torso to drop it down. He grabs right there onto the sides of the ears, and he extends that leg out. Arms go in opposition of the leg, creates a lot of nice fullness in his choices. Then he makes sure that his arms are down, so he's not just knocking his hips on the floor. He has that leg crossed over, arms are there to support, and then he presses up. Guys, oh my God, this section. So he presses up into a handstand. We've seen this from Old Boy. But what he chooses to do is he controlled that. He takes it up. He folds it down through an invert to finish it and place it down into a controlled squat that reminds you of the beginning. That's probably one of the most impressive things I think I've seen in a long time. That was beautiful. And how it did look like just a smidge on a stability check, but no one cares. I sure don't. And I love the extra wiggle, just the extra legato in his upper body on that. And he grabs and he brings it to the back. I love that choice. And we're building here. So he's creating more sharper, quicker choices that helps us more content dense, right? Great contrast there. And I love how he hits it and he kicks it. His arms and his body's creating more tension at the top, separation of the lower body. And then he kicks that leg and lets it sends that left leg back, creating a fullness there. The little tuck jump. He has a moment in the air for a picture moment. He comes out of it. He lets his body just get thrown. He takes it up. Nice little just ball change to the back. And then he swings it. And I love the swivel with the knee and letting the shoulder and the arm kind of just drape over it. He kicks it. And the ball changes to melt that body to the floor. He hits it. Boom. I love the extra interruptions of the body to come up there. And he picks it up, very dainty, very gentle. He attitudes it into a, oh my god, into a développé where he had both of his knees bent and then he fully extended it to just a beautiful side extension. Oh my god. And then look at the reach. He resets and then he just has a breath, a moment to just exist. And then he just decides to melt commitment with the knees, traveling it through, eye contact, sickling of the feet, melting to the floor, the fingers. And then it slowly looks like he's just being eaten alive on the inside. Losing control, focus, looking at us, slowly losing a state of not even focusing at the end. He's looking up, he's not having control. Fantastic dissension. To have and honestly how the music faded out and how he made his choice choreographically to have it fade out with it. Goodness. I'm glad, if I'm being honest, I'm so thankful. We're going to let him just kind of hang out there for a second. So thankful that he was able to get his flowers in this freaking show, I'm telling you, because he has always been approached on the show with such, I don't know. He has such power, but there's a lot of humility in that power. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of how he approaches. There's a sense of, in order for him to shine the way that he has, there has to be a large degree of reliability on those around him. There's a lot of trust involved there. So I find it so beautiful that we get to see him isolated, but also in his grouping. For me, yes, I know that he won, spoiler, you know, the top director position, rightfully so. I think the structure of his choreography was well done. And whatever the subjective criteria that was made from the judges, which we can't blame the judges for, that's how MNET chose to structure the show. When have they not done that, right? It's just beautiful that we've been able to be privileged in seeing him operate as a soloist in this way. But man, working as a group makes him shine just as profoundly. And I'm just honored. I am honored with the I feel just privileged of the fact that I've received enough of an education from growing up as a dancer in the studio world to even begin to understand the beauty of what that was. So thank you, sir. Thank you for that. Whew, boy howdy. For the last beyond. In the cold winter dawn, the boy struggled to keep pace with the steps of the adults. What he feared more than death were the men in uniforms with guns. For a moment he sat down and gazed at the starry night sky before falling into deep sleep and dreaming. I'm hoping he didn't die. Pak Jun Woo. Here we go. Guys, I love dance so much. Freaking love it. Gosh, man. I think part of me, like, the part of the emotion was the beauty of that, but, like, part of the emotion that I'm feeling right now is just I love getting to celebrate art, getting to celebrate people caring about their craft. And I love the fact that I'm in the position here that you guys want to come alongside me and dive into it together. Like, it just makes me, it's so thought-provoking. It's so deep and vast. It's just, oh man, I love dance. And he's grown on me so much this season, I'm telling you. I think too, there was in the episode where when he was selected as my other Squid Game counterpart, right? He was against Kyung-ho. And one reason why I preferred him as a main lead, what I was picking up on was his musicality and how he was flowing through the track and his stage presence and how he chose to act out his character in the nuances of the movement. And lo and behold, one reason why he was selected was because of his musicality choices in the audition. And to me, musicality is a priority on my go-to list, subjective or objective, whatever you want to call it. It is a priority for me because we are visual representatives of music as dancers. And so I really care deeply about interpreting that and stewarding that well. And so I didn't realize it until I watched the episode. I was picking up on that from him. So that's probably where it started growing, him specifically growing on me in the beauty of how he's been presenting himself, or how MNET's presented him all day, every day on this baby. Yes. From the top we go. Commitment to character out the gate. We love it. It does look like just kind of a covering over the head. It turns into, I believe it's a scarf, not a shawl entirely, but I love it. He looks cold. And then he sets it down. Commitment, the fullness on that. It's very striking. Slowly comes up. Great core control to make that a moment. I love the transition of that as well. He has the shawl, or the scarf. He pulls it. I love that he pulls it, and he pulls his hips towards it to give that sense of rebounded contrast. Really nice. Takes it over out. Definitely feels like our track is being manipulated in some way, so a lot of his speed changes, direction changes, really help complement that quite effectively. I like the throw on that, and then it definitely gives a different type of cold. Different than like a beggar, poor person cold is what that felt like, right? Very outside of my control. This one felt a little bit more, what is it? You know, like the hierarchy of things, when you see more of a sophisticated individual be cold versus somebody who has nothing to their name. Like, it just felt so different. Like, I really felt like I just saw life happened in front of me in 5 seconds. That was so cool. The collapsing on that, I like the fullness and openness of the chest as he collapsed down. What really, I think, started to get me a little teary-eyed was the fact that he chose to spend probably a solid 10 seconds not moving. Well, we'll see. If he drops down about second 22, and he's frozen. So you can see right there, now because we know that he has a flower in his mouth, but you couldn't have seen that at all. Great camera pan. The fact that he's still there for a solid 10 seconds. I resonate with that quite deeply, especially this season of my choreography life. I do have a soloist, and we're dancing to, she's dancing to a Johnny Cash track, and it's a very, very deep, very profound track of his, and it's very hard to steward a track like that well. And so there is a component of the choreography, though, that we were workshopping to where she is not really moving for it. And just the absence of movement speaks major volumes. And I feel it and resonate with it very deeply. And I come from the position, too, just as a side note, when I do competitive choreography, a lot of times, especially if I'm working with a soloist, the goal is to not win, even though we do tend to score. I mean, scoring's pretty fine and dandy. It's whatever, you know, I'm a choreographer. But the point, though, is that we're able to showcase art in ourselves, and it's a checkpoint in our journey. And I feel like I get a lot more out of it as a choreographer. I don't put myself and insert myself to the subjective opinions of people who don't get me. Sometimes, you know, like there's sometimes these judges just don't get the guys, and that's okay. You know, sometimes the audience just doesn't get a routine. There's times I don't get it, and that's okay. You know, at the end of the day, we take it with a grain of salt. We celebrate the beauty of the journey, which is exactly what we're doing here. I'm taking my time. We're soaking it in. We're appreciating, giving each man their flowers as they justly deserve. And So that to me is what really like I felt that much more deeply now, specifically now, because I have a choreography right now that resonates quite deeply with me personally, that we do something of that degree of risk taking. It is technically a risk because you're not moving. And so you don't have extra content that adds to the complexity of the technique. It adds to the complexity and depth of performance. So that's the risk in that, you know, checks and balances and all that. But anyway, so I love the fact that he made that choice, a shift in the, you have strings come involved. You have the flower. It's one of the last things we end up seeing. I love the fact that he's kind of zoning out more front. Really fun. I love that he has this breath in his chest, the wave, and the subtlety of this wave is so captivating. He goes and he rises onto a releve. He melts down, or he quickly just shifts down and he extends that elbow up. He draws that arm out. The arm choices that he has are just so beautiful. I love it. The swing. I love just the switch up on how quick the transitions on this flower are. It's gorgeous. He takes the arm. He resets. He doesn't give Korean dance vibes to me at all. He didn't give that way to Squid Game either when I watched the team one. Now, I hadn't watched the fan cams, which, side note, fan cams are a different take than what we saw in the team ones, which is why some of you may have different opinions about my thoughts whenever I watched the team ones, but it's because those fan cams didn't come from the same take. I'm telling you. Anyway, but going to this, though, like, he doesn't give off that impression, which is very, very impressive, because a lot of styles, tend to tailor to a particular posture and how you hold yourself. And that to me just shows the growth of an individual, the fact that they're just moving and we can appreciate the hybrid of everything that they're doing from the show. It's fantastic. He takes it, he has the flower, he pulls it down. I love that choice. And then he goes and resets. The turn, I love the grab fixed point of the head to allow that rotation to be so full but so controlled. Beautiful. He resets. Very worn. It's very worn and weathered. Part of it's the fit. Part of it's how he's presenting his face, his hair, and how it sits in the fringe. But also just how he's pulling in contrast of posture on that. The sweep around was beautiful. Love that choice with the breath added on the tail end of that. The close to the foreground that we got to see there. The push away. This reset. I love the beautiful pointed foot, like the follow through on the foot before he turned out of it. The turn was nice. He goes in, he grabs the head, but instead of grabbing with the fingers, he grabs with the wrist, so it feels different, right? Different stylized hands. The absence of sound here. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Then he lets it go out. And then from there, he makes his head contribute and add to the flow of the movement and how he sets back up. It's gorgeous. He reaches, he walks around, tosses it to the side because we're here for it. He presents, he takes that leg, he accents it to awaken it, to help embellish it over to the side. He presents over. Definitely, I don't know if that was claps or something. It did feel, it was a different build and sound. We recognized it. Fills it up. It feels like birds flickering something. There's something that's just twiddling through. Love it. Love how he chose to interpret it too. They look back. Love the fact he's using staging all the way across, going to the floor. And he went in between his two props. Really nice. He pulls that. And he lets that arm stay up. And he pulls through and makes that arm complementary to it. And he swings. And then he takes that arm with the elbow, resets it. And he presents. And that right there. Killer, my guy. Takes the leg. He taps it and he swings it around. Arm range was nice. And then he hits it up and then he sends it over. And then he goes in. Boom. Fun little hinge around with breath. Tension through the fingers with a beautiful, beautiful position in our finish. Wow. I'm such a delight to watch him. And he did stick out he was on my radar immediately as soon as the Squid Game one came out because of just how captivating his choreography was that he chose to do for that, as well as his musicality that I was picking up on. So would I like to see him make the final lineup? Yes. Whether it's personal preference or just the accolades throughout the season. He has been very consistent. He's done a great job. I've really liked when we've seen him featured. It's just been beautiful. So I love this choreography. It was so captivating, and it resonated quite deeply with me in different ways that wouldn't if I was at a different part of my life in a different season. So I find that to be very, very fun. All right, next up, candle equals time limited. Okay. The theme of heaven is one. The only flame that remains is the flickering flame in the heart like a candle. There's nothing to fear. Okay. And we have Yang Song Yoon ready for this. Boom, gotta turn it up. It sounded familiar. Wow. So captivating. I loved that, with a little collapse at the end, of course. So that song, I was trying to pick up on it because I have a little fun little contraption on my phone now where I can listen to stuff. But Knocking on Heaven's Door, that for sure. I was not expecting this song. I don't feel like any of us were, but that's what makes this fun, right? But anyway, I had to download stuff. Anyway, let's go back from the top. Really fun to have him here. He was not expecting to make it to the final lineup, nor like to the finals. So I love it whenever we get to see this was fantastic. Love seeing that. Guns N' Roses is who the artist is here. I like the fit of this too. After like realizing the kind of genre that we were entering in, I was like, this is a good fit for it. And how he progressed it was very fascinating, because normally a lot of times when you deal with a rock track like this, or an angsty rock track, your movement can potentially be underwhelming to the saturation of sound that it can cause, right? So that's why a lot of times having quantity and a lot of people doing it, it's gonna feel more effective. But he held it so well as a soloist. It was so intriguing. So the fact he just kept going, creating, honestly, he was like a kindled flame, right? Then that whoom. I don't know if there's this part of the music that just I was not picking up on, but the fact he caught that timing, well freaking done. Beautiful. He takes it up. Now this part was beautiful. He throws, he sends the fingers down, and then he does a fixed point with the fingers to help crawl the wrist through. That was a really beautiful moment in transition and phrase of sequence. Gorgeous. Or just phrase of movement. He lifts it up. The pull down is nice. Then from here, it's so conversational. He's curating. It's just, God, it's gorgeous, right? And we thread it through. I like how he traced that reverse trace up through the torso to present that hand. And I like the little extra lift that we're seeing from the body on that. Then he goes 1, 2, 3. I like the extra interruptions on that. Then he presents with a little forced arch on the leg. Then he presents with the posture. I love the pull that's going on with that chest happening on that right side. He ends up swirling the hands up to create a beautiful turn out of it. Drops it down. threading through. I love the little Z set, and then he rotates those legs through. He accents that leg up nice and tall. He comes up. I love the bleed on those fingers. It's gorgeous. His walk is nice. He has his head. Beautiful throwdown. The leap, it had a sense of, I don't know, it was controlled, but it also felt very free, right? Definitely not feeling constrained in a particular position to hold. It was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be in whatever position. I'm going to take ownership of that position, is what it felt like. I love it. So I love the little snake through, the drag above the legs. Beautiful core control on that. Then he goes through, boom, he hits it. Just a little accent with the head to create a little wave effect going on with the arm was really nice. And he takes it through, da-da-da-da. Arm rotates around, using that arm to turn through. I like the accent with the elbow. He has this moment with the pull on the torso is nice. The slide through, I love that he uses that arm as an anchor point to travel those legs around. That's really fun. He has a little breath going on with the elbows on that. He takes the legs, we go flick, flick. We're here for that. Does a little pull once again with the torso, taking that leg, rotating it up and around, which is also nice. The grab right there onto the torso looks great there. He takes the energy, does a little lift. I like the pull going on. There's always these little residual heads and shoulders. I just see all the styles rubbing off on each other. That gives a lot of that Korean dance breath and breathability that we've seen before. Does he have history and experience with it? I believe so, based on what I'm hopefully remembering of the season thus far. But that still doesn't discredit the fact that he's being viewed as a contemporary dancer. Blue lights, we've seen him repping the blue contemporary the whole time. It's nice to see multiple styles well represented. It's just beautiful on a Guns N' Roses rock track, mind you. So hit through. I like the extra just rotation around and bringing it through. The lift up, not really envelope, he lifts it up, down into a nice little presentation. He turns it, and I like the contrast into the torso to allow the body to lower and to turn. We come up, the step back is cool. He hits it through or just lets it travel through, and he extends that arm around, rotating it through. The pull to help promote a new direction or a new kind of way to stage that transition was really nice. Then he ends up doing, I like the pull down, like the abruptness of the pull down to get him to roll was really beautiful there. He comes up, and then from here, normally you would see people create a really loud movement to help integrate into the chorus. He doesn't. He flows into it. He builds it through tension. Oh, so fun. Knock, knock, knock. Isolated, but also complementary. Used to the hips and the knees to make that its own moment to help with the arms. Then he takes the arm, he goes heaven, swivels the arm in, door, and he knocks it on the head. Yes to fringe, yes to the hair, making that a moment. And he goes bang. This sent me. It goes bang, 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 bang. You can whiplash that so bad. Man, that was gorgeous. And you send that leg in. And I love that we're rolling on that shoulder, on the shoulders to create a beautiful line, sending those legs to the back. And then he pulls it. God, it's so gorgeous. And he uses his other arm as an anchor point to help make that more seamless. That was just beautiful, beautiful in connection. Then we take then from there we create the pullness. Well, they're just pulling to allow those legs to go up and over in control. I like the reset here. Slowly comes up. The walks are nice. He goes, ooh. That's knock, knock, knock. And it goes knock, knock, knock. And then we kick on that accent because we can. It goes door. And we go, ooh. And I go nice into the Z sit, creating and continuing range to hit that tone all the way through the phrase. I love that we're not neglecting any part of our music. We're recognizing it all. And when we're choosing to commit to a particular part of it, we're committed. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. We love that choice. We swivel it through. We accent down. I like the kick out. And then he threads it through that nice, strong anchored position. I love the flow on the wrist on that. And then we pull on that head with the extra lift on that shoulder. And then we grab. There's a lot of these little moments, right? With the pull down. Definitely gives that gun vibe. And it goes, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then he ends up taking himself out. So he is now, his time is out, and I like how he folded it back, and then he ended up shifting the legs forward to no longer be with us, is what they gave the impression on. So that was so freaking sick. So we're gonna let him sit there. So Young, I'm trying to see Young Song Yoon. Beautiful work, sir. I love the fact that he decided to go this genre. Beautiful. Honored and delighted to be able to experience that. Thank you. This was gorgeous. Gorgeous. Next up, you make me lose control. When you're not by my side, I'm overwhelmed by fear. I try to suppress it, but I endlessly crave you. It's giving addiction vibes, isn't it? And we have Jun Hyuk. I'm ready, sir. Oh. 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 Oh, this is a good song. Oh my god, this is Teddy Swims, I think? Oh my god. Oh! Ah! Sir, wow, you decided to pull that song? Lord help us all. Yes, it was Teddy Swims, Lose Control. Oh, wow. I could barely contain myself on that one. I don't think I did. I'm sorry. Wow, Jun Hyuk, props to you on that song choice. Wow, so powerful, right? And he held it down so well. Fantastic musicality, sir. Here we go, from the jump. It's in a waltz count too, so you have to count it in threes, which always makes it impressive because a waltz count is harder to count than just a regular 4/4, right? So we're here for this. Let's go. Slow walk forward to establish tone, which we love, and you hear that boom on the bass. He accents it right there, creating a sense of reverb on the tail end. We love that choice. Something's gotta hold on. Oh my god, the vibrato all day, baby, on this one. Ooh. Wow, okay, sorry, we're gonna go back. We gotta actually look at the movement too. Yeah, got on hold of me, so he's actually grabbing. I was not expecting this much Western music influence in some of our song choices. I'm vibing with this, come on now. Anyway, so we grab, I like the little pull away, opposition of the chest and the head from the arm. And it goes, oh, and then we rotate the arms around, and then we pull with the shoulders to help reinstate. Da, 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 da. And it goes 1, 2, 3. So I like how he even was walking. I believe he was walking on tempo too. Yeah. And then it goes right there on that sound. Ugh. Ugh. And then you have the boom right there on the, like you have an imaginary table that he just sunk his head into. Ugh. He made that sound his. Ugh. Turn out of it. And honestly, too, even his range choices is giving a Korean dance influence, doesn't it? Right? I'm telling you, everybody influenced each other, and that's what makes it so special. Like, part of me feels like when we're watching a lot of these performances, it does remind me sometimes when I watch my own students when they do choreography to songs that they just like, because we've spent a long time looking at these guys together. Hours spend looking at their movement quality, interactions with each other, choreographs, auditions, everything. This to me, it feels, I don't know, it just feels like they get to showcase who they want to who they want to be as artists on their own terms. It really feels that way. Much more so here because of song choice is a really big thing too. Like I am surprised that we're able to use these types of songs here on MNET. So that's awesome. So if they really were able to choose their song at the liberty that was expressed, I love I can watch this all day. And that's what we're doing. It's basically, it's taking me all day to watch this. And I do not mind that. And I know a lot of you guys are along for the ride with me. And if any of these guys, like if Jun Hyuk watches this, sir, freaking great song choice through and through. And your movement quality to boot. Oh, sending me. Yeah. This is awesome. I don't mind celebrating this. So it goes and he rotates. I like the little accent with the rotation of that hand as he goes into a fourth to go forward. And I love the throw on that and how he looks at it. Great commitment there. And he turns with the head. I love that little extra whip around to help promote that rotation on the floor, on the ground. He comes up. That little, and he goes down, boom, I don't wanna, syllables on that. So we rotate, let the elbows be more chill, rotating more on that forearm. We take the arms forward, and he goes into a little overhead, like you would see in whacking. It's so cool. He pulls it down, then he lifts it back up, and then he takes it over. He sends that hand through, and he pulls through, no good, and he rotates around. We're here for this. And then he hits it, so it's moan. So it's just when you hear his tone, Teddy Swims, it just makes you go, So how he's doing it just makes me want to go, So that's a fantastic musicality calibration just from how, when you watch how he does it to how you're hearing it, you're wanting to give the same face. That's dope. Yeah, and it goes, boom, yeah, you. And it goes taken up, and then he leaves this arm to rotate the other one up and around, and it goes up, down, and then it goes pull, pull, and then we just put the energy up, and we turn out of it, and then we skin off my bones, a little extra reverb of tension to help fill that up, and it goes, don't you know, and then it goes, boom, oh, that's the extra horns presented there, and then I love how he lets that chin come a little bit more here, as he's let the angstiness up with the breath, the pull through a little bit more, goes, the turn where he goes and he takes that leg up, and then he's still going. Now, who freaking cares what's going on that standing leg? We all know, to a certain extent, a certain way to carry it, but the fact is that flow was maintained, and I was so drawn to what he was doing in the upper body. It was a true distraction of that all day, baby. And he builds the arms up, and he decides to look at him because he can. God, that was so good. And then he does a wow with the whip around to hit that ka. Rolling on the floor. This is gorgeous. Then he resets over down and he walks. He takes it in the brush around with the base of that palm is gorgeous there. And then he takes it, sends that shoulder down to make it full. I like the knees rotating on that, letting the head help contribute as a nice little embellishment on that. Rotates onto the stomach. Takes those legs up, and he sends that leg around. Sickle, do you notice that? And then it goes switch to get him right back up. So he caught his legs underneath himself. That's what that gave the impression on. So fun. And it goes, so like the lift on that is gorgeous. And then we pull it around, beautiful. And then we turn, so good. He takes that leg, and then he sends that other leg through, whipping it through right there onto the back. And then he continues it through. Really great way to interpret that run that you hear from Teddy. And he pulls it, goes doon. Whoops. I was just too into it. And then he has a nice little reset in posture. And then he rotates those arms to make it feel a little bit more filling. And then he hits it a little reverb, and I like the subtlety there. So how much of this is choreographed? I would say this little bit here is probably more feeling in the moment, where he's matching kind of the texture choice he wants to go with, but it could look subtly different every time. I love that choice. And it goes begging you. I like the reach and the pull through. It's like, hey, I'm begging, not begging anymore. We look to the back, head whip around. We get you into the floor. I like the arms to help transition the floor work to get him back up. And then he takes it up, and he freaking sends it back, and he rolls down, and he comes back up, boom, and then he wants to finish. You notice that little pull of the shoulder, and he sunk into it. Good God, sir, that was awesome. I was not in a million years expecting somebody on Stage Fighter to pull a Teddy Swims track. That is wild. I mean, as you can hear, that is just, God, he did such a good job. Jun Hyuk, sir. I am so glad these guys all made it, because I mean, as much as I want to see everybody. You know, you've heard my intro, right? Like, there's a lot of people that I really wanted the privilege of getting to appreciate their growth. Like, this is a fantastic way to do a growth check-in, because after the show, we're going to continue to see them grow and thrive, and I want to continue to support them in whatever way. But this, like, I love being able to look at an artist and be like, yo, look at how much they've grown. Look at how much of a focal point and perspective they have the power to showcase just from getting the power to choose their song and getting to do what they want. Like, come on, pop off to that. Wow. All right. Devil. I've decided to become a devil. So simple. So simple. So effective. Jung Hye Song. He's been called Mr. Feline on our analysis. Here we go. Whoa! Whoa! Contemporary guys are coming in clutch on these songs, man. Oh, yeah! Oh, that was good. That was good. He just pulled 7. That makes me so mad. He pulled 7! Oh, God, that was so fun. Yes, I was, once again, like, a lot of these songs I'm used to hearing in my neck of the woods. I'm not used to seeing on, like, MNET, right? So that's probably why I'm like, this song, I'm like, I have seen so much choreography competed in the solo contemporary division for this song, because it's so intense and there's a lot of musicality moments. You could be, you know, and a lot of dancers love to be angsty. So that's, to me, he did a fantastic job. Probably one of my favorite interpretations of this track. Well done, sir. Love it. All right. So we're starting from the jump. I like his arm warmers. It reminds me, it kind of reiterates my Mr. Feline nickname I gave him, just in how he presents himself is so fun. But that reminds me of in Cats, how they have their gloves. It does look similar to that. So I find that to be a really fun correlation for me in my head, but I know that's probably not what he was thinking. That's fine. But Jung Hye Song, I was really happy. I know it was between him and Dong, right? Donghoon, I think, maybe. I mean, and then of course, because Mugan is no longer on the show, and so now both of them are able to be in the finals, right? So it's cool that we get to see that, but also I'm still a little sad that Mugan stepped away. But hey, respect to that. Anyway, the run here. Sliding in, he presses up to his shoulder stand. Beautiful control on that, guys. So he has to use that back arm in order to, that's where his anchor, his weight's being anchored, and he's using this arm to balance it. Beautiful. I love the stoicness of the face. Point the feet, sir. We love it. And then we have the, it does feel like a clock, like we're setting it up, and it goes, ooh, he's hearing that sound, and he's melding into it. And then he comes out of it. They hear that. When I heard that sound, I said, yo, and then he's, be careful who you trust. And now of the reach on that, and he hits it with the hinge. Who you trust? Yeah. So he looks to the front, and he has a little wave out of that too, and then he hits it. Sit in that posture. Ding, ding, ding. It's like we're being suspended. Speed change. We're being, you know, suspended in the air. We can't control ourselves. I love that, going into from like a Superman to a hollow, which is really cool. Having your legs go in contrast with your arms. Then he takes that leg to rotate to hit that heartbeat. Really cool sound. He traces that arm over. Then he takes that leg, he taps it. Bum, bum, and he lets the head whip, not really whip, but rotate to hit that bum, bum. So it went foot, head versus foot, foot on that sound, dun, dun, because it was the same part of the music, but it was really interesting that he chose two different parts of his body to interpret that sound. And he comes up to a Z set, then he waves the hands. Love that. Presenting this part. Oh, God, was so cool. So he lays it down. So he taps that foot, and then he lifts it, so he's on the hips, and I love the openness. It's a mix of things. He's looking up, so we're looking at this hand. He is placing his weight on the hip. He's placing his weight right there on the base of the wrist, letting this line continue. Oh my God, guys. Like, this is freaking sick. Ooh, Lord. And then he twinkles and he unfurls. He just undoes the fingers on that. And then he relaxes those feet. There's a little tap there, and he collapses. Gosh, in such a really nice, clean line. Then from there, he lets this arm absorb back into his body, letting the rotation do its thing. And I like the shoulder roll on that. Nice pike to help press the chest up. I like the wave on the boom on the base there. Present the hams forward. A little reverb to help with the head to boot that. Then we flick the arms up, which we love. I like the presentation of the gluing of the knees together to make that a nice clean line in front. It's gorgeous. Then he hits it, boom, straight pike, and then he ends up bending him very similarly to that kind of bend perspective we saw in the very beginning with the straight leg and the bent one. So I love that we're creating some really nice clock-like rotations where one is shorter, one's longer to help create the minute-hour hands. And then you have that ticking, right? And then you hear that sound in the back, and you let the torso be pulled to help match and recognize that sound that we hear it. And then he takes it. I love that he's using that arm as an anchor point to do that. If you've seen when people do that speed change rotation matrix move, right? Not matrix hinge, but matrix in like your body looks the same, but it's moving direction. That's a really fun, creative way to do that technique or vibe, but just package it up in a way that's really fascinating and captivating. It's just so freaking nice. And then he goes chance too, so I like that we take it. A nice little just choice of the fingers and just his intensity here. He does intensity very well. I love the grab of the hands, making the foot, it's a forced arch, and he goes and he presses the toes forward and he creates tension in those fingers. And then we present, and it goes savage, abstract position, and then you have that ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. So now it's elevating, we're building, more content's about to be presented. It's a little bit more striking, the choices that are being made and the frequency in which we make them, because we're building. We got to get it somewhere, right? So we pull it up, that twinkling of the fingers. The reach up is really nice. There's a lot of reach, there's a lot of yearning, but he's being turned into the devil, right? So I like that we rotate it. Instead of going front, we're going back on that. And so we take it up. He takes it up, and then he sends it down. And it goes savage, and the pull on the chest is really nice. And he hits it that. I love the choice of the fingers. It was gorgeous there. And then that's a rolling Tenzuka, baby. Let's go. He's always done those very well. I wish that we featured that more. Guys, that is really hard to do well, and he's done it very well. I would say the one he ended up doing, I think it was for the mega stage, he did a rolling Tenzuka, I think there. That was gorgeous when he chose to do it there. Save me, and then you have the chest, he's building it into the chest, and then he's adding the arms and a little shampoo, and then he's adding a more vibration, more like jerking vibration out of that. The thrusting and the throbbing through is really cool. So he hits it through. I love the switch up on that. He hits it out, just sends it to like a little kick out with the heels. He reaches up, flex feet, and then he collapses into it from base of that elbow to collapse that. Really nice. And then he throws that head. He rolls through. Really nice. It shows us as a combativeness. Very firm, very sharp, very strong, powerful. And then he takes the leg, he extends it across from him, and he goes dun 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 dun. I love the quickness of the arm and the quickness of the flick of the foot and how well they matched how frequent that bass was being hit. It didn't feel like we were just taking up time. We were hitting every sound. Love that. So the flick on that's really nice. He says, I'm gonna freaking send my grandmama up to God's green earth. It's cool. He runs. Beautiful. I love the rotation of the hips to get that leap, which is nice. We call that, a lot of times we call that a surprise leap. I don't know what they would really call that here. That's fine. The turn is nice, a little drag on that. I like the flick on that, and letting the torso be a residual effect on that. We present. Now he goes. This is a passe. It goes 1, 2, 3, and then he drops it to more of just he's turning on both legs. 4, 5, 6, 7, and then he absorbs it up, pulls it up, and he goes savage, and he sinks into it, and then he has a fun little boom, okay, I'm dead now, and he has to hold it. Impressive. Normally you would see people slowly sink and finish it, but he said, I'm gonna hold that arch, I'm gonna hold my core on this, and we're gonna freaking eat it up. Goodness gracious. Jung Hye Song. Jung Hye. I freaking love this so much. Beautiful, beautiful showcase of athleticism. I feel like all of them have grown on me. He's grown on me a lot ever since giving him the name Mr. Feline. We've really just, we've been bodying everything given to us. And I loved his take as in this, like a sub role in the contemporary, most are contemporary, in the school one, Sky Castle. I really loved his movement quality there. I love it here, and I really liked his choreograph too. He was in my ranking for that for sure. Well done, sir. All right, we have yesterday is history, tomorrow is mystery, but today is a gift. That is why it is called the present. Oh my gosh, that's low-key punny. I like it. The smile born from sacrifice could become the gift of now. So I bring this gift of the present. Huh. Oh, look at that. And it is Go Dong Hoon. So I'm going to go ahead and write his name first before we watch it, so I don't have to take up time doing it at the end of his set. Hoon. Ready. So we know, if you don't know, now you know, from Mugan's departure, Dong-hoon was eligible, diction, Jess. He was eligible to participate in the finals. So I'm very excited to be able to see this title track to the names that were meant to be forgotten. Ready, let's go. Oh, I know the song. Wow. BY's on it. That's why I know it. Wow. Okay. Ooh, that got very deep, very, very quickly. I didn't mind it though. It was really, really nice. Yeah. So the reason why I know the song is because BY's featured on it. I really like BY as a rapper. So I remember his time on Show Me the Money. I knew him before then. Oh, live for it. Let's go. Or maybe no. I think I saw him on Show Me the Money. But these pulls, the staggering on it's really well done. So he takes it, and what's interesting is this type of track, you can run into the potential problem of it being a little redundant because of its nan, nan, nan. At least in tone, it works very well, but in movement quality, there's always that risk, right? And so, because it's the power threes, and so he does a really well done perspective on building it in really, really fun ways. So he takes it, I like the swing through in the arm, and he takes it boom, 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 and I like the little rotation around it on it. So he takes it through. I like the connection and how he's looking at where he's going with the arms, and then he suspends it up on that not crash, but the da 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 ta. sound and how it's his shoulder flexibility. He's using that to his advantage in order to make it feel like he's suspending outside of his control. That's gorgeous. Yep. And he brings it back and he goes, otoke, like, what do I do? The grab on the shoulder, and then he presses that grab up to the thigh, and then he creates, I like just the snaking to help promote a pull onto this leg, the weightiness of it, and then he does a little 3-step turn out of it, and then he does a reset. That elbow was a little bit more, not really a fixed point, but it definitely was holding space that gave him a sense of direction and where to go to. So he runs forward, he does a little, that little sound, little straddle dive roll, come on, all day, baby. Flips the arms up, which is nice. You pull it in, da 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 da, not damn, and like the rotation through, and then we lift it up. So I love that he's creating this. There's the contrast of the beautiful tone of just the high notes, the falsetto. Not really falsetto, I don't think quite as much here, but BY having that da 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 da, very, very distinct diction in his choices, in his rhythmic patterns as a rapper and a lyricist. And so being able to hear this holds in this extra environmental high breath, not breath, but like tone. And then you have this da 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 da. I really love it. It's very polyrhythmic, right? Which is why it's complimentary. So having him switch between is so fun. I love that we get to recognize both and we're not ignoring one or prioritizing one over the other. I like the hit on that. I love the fact he's kicking up. Look, he ain't touching the ground. And then a nice little dive roll through the shoulder, really nice. And I like how he recognizes that back corner. Nice little brush of the arms. Presenting forward, he grabs, pulls that chest, does a little throw, rotates on the wrist to make it its own moment. He pulls it through. I like the little Rana Jaman layer through that. He brushes through, and he has a little suspension through onto the floor. I like that choice. I'm sorry. And then, so freaking impressive how he was able to, boom, pop up that that it wasn't a pawn shape. It pops up that leg to create a beautiful extension to help that body come right back up. That was mad cool. And then he goes boom, little reverb to help the arms be thrown up. And then he brings it through, arm. And then we take it, we pull and twinkle that arm in. And we push it. I love how he rolled, and then he just seamlessly stepped up through a lunge to stand back up and to turn, and letting the brush of the arm happen. I'm so glad we were able to see him grow. Like I know MNET really, they structured it like a underdog where it was just poor placement in the not really poor placement, but like it was just unfortunate how the cards were dealt for auditions for him, where he ended up being in the underclass, and so it really took him a hot minute to get up to that second class. And so I'm really happy that we're able to see him here, to celebrate that he's here, and he really has garnered a lot of public attention for that, and I think that's great, and it's worth celebrating because he's fantastic as a mover through and through. And the fact is that all the other competitors and contestants, they also were like, yeah, he's where he needs to be, like no one questioned it. They were waiting for him to join that second class, and he did. So it's nice to see him and be able to see him compete in this way. It's so fun. So they hit it through, and the fullness of the chest, and then we dip a nice little plie out of it, the look away. He ends up creating, I don't know if it's a true like zigzag wave or anything, but I really do like the contrast of the arms as he travels it down. And then he lifts, he pulls it in, he comes up. It's like we're breathing something in, which was interesting. And then we hit it, and then we present, I like the throws, or just not really a throw, but just the reach throughs are really nice on that. And it goes little silhouette moment with our wrist to help with just some residual fingers on that. And it goes pull, or more so like a grab, more grabbing on that. And then I love the patience on this choice of suspension. And we pull it up and around, which is just gorgeous, looking away from the hands. So there's so much beauty in the look at them as well as the look away. Both are really beautiful. I think he does a fantastic job, especially with the contrast looking away from where my hands are directionally. He does that quite often here, and I like it. Good fingerprint. And it goes down, up, and I like the arm up. And it goes 1 and 2, and then we pull through, and it goes tap, and I like, once again, the weightiness. It ties into that beginning, right? It's gorgeous. The turn was fun, and then you have this breath here, and then we take the arms up, and then bring in nice little prayer hands on this too, and then we have a little accent with the elbow on that, and it goes, I'm sorry, has a moment for patience, sorry, my mama. And so I don't know if he's talking about this to the names that were meant to be forgotten. I don't know if it's about mom, not quite sure. That little sorry, I think he was spelling out Mian, Like, sorry. I think is what he was doing in Hangul. I could be wrong, though. And then I don't know if this right here, does that mean mom something? Was that sign language maybe? You guys know I'm a sucker for some sign language integration. We got Mr. Sign Language himself, I think, is one of these. I feel, right? So I'm excited for that anyway. So the reach through, that was really nice. All in all, I'm really happy that we got to see him here. I think it's everybody who's made it to the finals, for sure, like the incredible movers. I mostly just when it comes to MNET, they never do a good job on providing equal opportunity for people to be shown in incredible light. They pick who they want to pick, you know, and like even with Donghoon, he wasn't on our radar nearly as much until that audition for, I think, what was it, for Mega Stage maybe? No, I don't think it was for Mega Stage. It was for the choreographies, like the contrasting ones, the competition one, like Squid Game and Old Boy and the K Content Challenge, I think is when he started to really like pop off. I could be wrong though, but I think that's kind of like my point though, right? Is that it's a Mnet chose when he joined the chat on the narrative of the show, which to me, I was like, I wanted to see him sooner. I wanted to see everybody who was in the unders. They deserve just as much recognition as those that are in that first class. So I'm really happy that we get to give him his flowers here. Well done, sir. We are here for it. Hahoe or Hahoe Mask is what it says here. Hiding pain behind a smile, my sorrow wears the guise of joy on the outside, but within it holds deep loneliness and suffering. Ooh. The mask is a shield that conceals my true feelings and symbolizes another version of me striving to meet the world's expectations. Okay, Q Nyan, here we go. I'm ready. His fit is eating too. I love his fit so much. Okay, so this one has a heavier Korean dance influence. It doesn't feel as hybrid as some of our other counterparts. So I will do my best in this position, like I have referenced many times before, in appreciating it. This was really fun. I also found it interesting that we didn't have a mask. I didn't mind it. I just found it interesting, right? Because then you have to rely more upon the movement quality and how you structure it in composition to justify that perspective. But also at the end of the day, I don't care how the judges feel about this. I think this is great because this is his choice and this is what he deemed it the most effective. And also, I'm not as much of a person as fluent in the traditional sounds or the compositions of the music and what they mean as much as I am in other realms, which is fine, and I love being a student in that. So there's a chance that maybe the song itself has that kind of, affiliation with what he's trying to come across, which I love. Anyway, so we start with the reach up, really nice. The pull through is really nice. The grab, good tension, boom, just subtle reverb on that was really cool. He flicks it, he pulls forward. He says, "Oh, hi there, good to see ya." The nice little extra accent down is nice. The reach up, showing some sense of bondage. I love the beauty of the separation of those fingers, making it very clear to see. He goes down, up. I love that little extra nuance in that. We take that leg and extend it around all day on that. We twinkle that finger in, which we love to see. It creates a nice little look through. In the arm, he takes the arms. I like the twinkling in, which is nice. And then we present the hands up and around, which is also nice to see. So a lot of breath being shown here in the usage of the chest. Beautiful. And having the boom contrast with percussion and letting the chest and having the arms accent off of it is also nice. Making the body an instrument, which I do feel like that is one quality or facet of Korean dance. The breath for sure, but it wouldn't shock me at all if weight placement and percussion and integration of that through movement quality could definitely be something picked up on too, for sure. But I like that we take the hand and we fold it down, so I like that with the wrist. It was really nice. He throws it out, up the cross and out, and then we have the little shampoo through. He presents, and I like the rotation of the arm. That right there, mask, right? I would assume it's something masked by the face, maybe. Pull down, boom, boom, boom. Nice head, good rotation, very angsty, right? The walk forward is nice to see. He holds it up, twinkles it in. Reminds you of that bondage moment from earlier, right? And then he looks to the corner. Oh, the intrigue here, right? And then we're picking up our BPM. I love the shift in performance here with his face. Really fun. And he runs, and I love the little extra whip around before he rolls to the floor. The reach up is nice. Go out in, and then he flicks that head back. Man, the flexibility and the amount of balance that he had to freaking clock it that far back that quickly. Really well done. The turnaround was nice. He throws and brings it up. Trickles it down. Nice arms, and the reach around is nice to see. The hip boom, da-dun-dun. I love the smile on that too. Flicks it up. The turn is great. Flicks it through. Another really nice turn. The tension. He has so much of this going on in a great way, where you see a lot of patience. What you see here, tension to help us recognize tone of our lady vocalist. It's gorgeous. And I like the little flick up here. A lot of the breath, a lot of heels where the weight shifts are. So beautiful to admire. The turn is gorgeous. I like the little sweep of the leg around. He runs, he turns, he preps it. Very nice. I believe that's a variant of some kind, maybe a Jaban. Jaban is how they translated it in the Stage Fighter episode. I don't know if that's what it's really called. I do have my sheets over here. I could dive into that, but I know this is a long video. I knew I was expecting it, but we're here to appreciate and enjoy it. So that's what I know this is what it's called, but we've heard that called like a barrel jump, something like that along those lines in our neck of the woods in the contemporary realm. So it's fun to see that with the turn out of it, which is nice. I love the flick up there. The roll is nice. He comes up. I love that little extra dun shift in face. Makes it its own moment. It's beautiful, right? I love the hop hops out of that. The turn is nice. And of course, having this head just have this beautiful reset of refocus, right? Super cool. He presents, and I like how he presents. Good drive forward. And the lift is nice. The pulls are nice. I love the harmonies happening in the track. He reaches the run to the back. He looks, Stage Fighter looks at us. Brushes, good range, rotation of the arms, swinging the arms up. He pulses it down. I like how we recognize with the fist, that percussion sound. We go down, up, boom. And then you hear birds. He looks up. Birds a lot of times are in the sky. So I love he grabs the heart. Very, very, very strong. Very beautiful to see and appreciate. So he also wasn't in the episode elimination portion of the episode. They never quite said what was going on, so I hope he's okay, because, you know, normally it's like an injury thing, but they said it was just due to personal reasons, and so you never really know with that kind of stuff. So I'm glad we get to see him in the finals here, and I can see him pull in a potential spot for being a Holjong student, for having that type of exposure on the show, but also his movement quality has always been very fascinating to me. It's always been fun to see and explore and appreciate. So well done to you, sir. I love the fact we got to see this through and through, representing Korean dance all the way to the end. We love it. Okay. Hero is the name of the track. So the flames rising within me never ignite, and I simply dream of tomorrow from the shadows. Okay. Yongung. So Out of everyone, I think I've said it about him the most. He has grown on me in such a fantastic way. I think it was from whenever we had the itemized styled routines in the Vampire Sonata. I loved his character there, how he chose to perform his character. I don't think the judges agreed with me on that, and that's fine. That's the beauty of having different opinions. I really loved his movement quality starting, from the jump, honestly, but how he performs, I think I really enjoyed it just from there on. Oh God. So like I am excited, just as like a personal, being completely subjective and personal preference. I'm very excited to see what he's about to do. Here we go. Got my Shazam ready, because for contemporary, they've been hitting bangers on tracks. Oh, I got a feeling. Yes, it is. It is Bon Iver. Ah! Oh. That was so good. Doesn't it, I don't know, it could just be me. Doesn't it feel like the contemporary dancers get to like pop off now? Like a lot of times the challenges do tailor to their movement quality quite effectively, but a lot of the genre of tracks, like this is, to me, this we are at home base right now. Bon Iver, I relate so deeply to the discography of just the, oh, let's chat for a second. Okay, I love the song choices that a lot of these guys have the freedom to choose. Like the fact he chose this genre, he chose a Bon Iver track. It's so tricky to hit a Bon Iver track well, and he did it so beautifully. I would say my favorite track of Bon is of Woods. If you've ever heard it, it's you die when you hear it. So I love the fact he went with this approach here. It also feels like there's peace at the end of it. You know, like he's able to just exist. Like, oh my God, like this was fantastic. Gorgeous. Slow walk. And the reason why in my head I had a feeling it was Bon Iver was just from the timbre here. So how Bon does have, like how his sound production works, there's a lot of these little like glitchy sci-fi auto-tuned harmony synth stuff, you know, just the sheer amount of like 15 syllables it took for me to explain even a degree of symptom that this man's tracks can present, you know. So it's very distinct in my neck of the woods, especially in contemporary, in the competitive sense. I will say this too, as a complete side note, the fact I'm able to really appreciate these as much as I'm able to is for the sheer fact that we've gotten to see their growth in the show. We got to see their perseverance and their grit and their stress, all of that throughout the show, where I can truly appreciate the art of it. Because I will tell you, if I was just coming in, this is the first time I'm ever watching any of them, this feels so like the closest to a competition choreo that would score very, very well in my circuit. It's this right here. I love it. Anyway, so we're gonna appreciate the crap out of this. Oh, it's so good. The lift is nice, up, and then he resets down. The chest is beautiful. He travels it down. Golly, the sustains on this, and then he pulls from the hip, and then he resets front. And then he holds the contrast in the chest, in the hips, and he lengthens it over, and he presents up, and then he hits resets. There's so many resets, so many misdirections, so many subtleties. Oh, it's amazing. And he hits it over. Da-da-dun. It's so clean, so readable. Oh my god, I love this. Oh my god, I love this. So like, you know, earlier with our, oh my god, Mr. Pistol Squat, right? So Haehyun, right? See, now I gotta pull up the receipts. Yeah, Haehyun, his was just, there's some of this majestic unpredictability about it. Straight up texture, movement quality, like texture for Haehyun, yes. But here, when it comes to like contrast of what we're normally used to seeing them do in the show and how well they are as a practitioner of it, like Haehyun got to control some of it because it was his own work. He never really got to do his own choreo on the show. He's in the opposite boat, but we get to see him do it here. Hello, like this is amazing, guys. I love this. The reach around is nice. I love the pickup of the foot is nice. The subtlety, boom. It's quirky. It's giving, I don't know, like a, oh my gosh. There's certain, you know, like when you watch like an animated movie and you see sometimes one of the characters can shift their torso in a very animated way that you're like, I normally don't see humans do that, but it gives a human-like quality. That's what he's doing, and that just works with his track so well. And he picks it, boom, boom. Oh my god, and he throws it. Chunks it through, and the rebound on the elbow was gorgeous. The lift up, and I love that he uses the fingers to help create an accent point with the stylized foot too. Oh my god, it's so freaking good. The lifts, the patience here. He holds it out. The tension on the hip as he pulls it away this makes me so mad how good this is. Oh, and he presents it, and then he rotates around, pulls it down, takes the leg, the thread through is gorgeous. We go down, up, and then we thread it once again, but it was more placed, and then he finished the rotation out of it. And then he has his moment, the walk, and he continues the trot through nice and quick. He comes up, the little flick to the back, and he goes, we won, and I like the throw, and the trot, and the throw, and then we reset. This feels, you know what? That little instance right there reminds me, so there's a studio I work at, and I've trained a lot of the dancers. Well, we've been together for a long time, and some of these movements remind me of some of those girls in a very complimentary way, mind you, and how they hold themselves. And that's why this resonates so much with me, is that I'm so used to seeing my own students rep in this kind of wheelhouse of texture and posture with this type of sound integration. Like, this hits so close to real world Jess. Like, Jess, of course, this is me, like, in real life, but, like, in person, in the flesh, I navigate with dancers who understand music and hear music in this way, who dive into the risk-taking of a track like this, and they pull stuff like that. Like, this hits so close to home for me on a movement quality side, for who I look at, and how, when I watch my own dancers do something even close to this, I'm like, what a blessing it is for me to be in the position I'm in as a teacher, to get to see this, and to have a hand in that, as a mentor in some way, to help them feel safe enough to even try that. Because guys, like, this kind of stuff is so risky all the time because it's quirky and it's weird and different. But to me, I have so much respect for this. You have no freaking idea. Like, I feel like the fact that I can look within myself and think about my own personal life and how it resonates to that level, that's how freaking good this is. Do you know what I mean? Like, I am dying of how freaking phenomenal the setup and choreo structure is. Golly. The reset, like, come on, the height on that, and the control on that dolphin. He goes over, he resets, sets it over, just that little accent point with the rotation. He turns over the reach, and he grabs, and then he resets down, and he hits it down, boom, taking the arms, bleeding them up. I love the illusion out of that, and then he lets the head continue the sustaining to let it drop whenever he wants it to onto the back. He goes, how long? And then he hits it down, up, and then in the accent, oh, hold on, my mouse didn't pause it when I wanted it to. He hits it, there's a little knee, he hits the knee, it inverts in order to promote the arms, swing them up in opposition, rotating, and then he pulls. Notice the heel twist to let the foot complement what's going on with that left arm. He hits it, bum, bum, da, da, and then he goes, believe, and he has this little extra E to hit that tone. He throws it to the side, and he resets forward. He picks it up, which is also really nice. Click, click, and he accents over in the look. And he hits it down, the swim, the sway, and he hits it, the accent. Oh my God, with the knee, with the elbow, and how he presses it out, swings the arms. He has this moment. I can feel it, just the look around. He hits it in the reset. He resets the knees, like freaking put him out of socket. My God, it was so cool. To the front, he goes down, up, hump, up. He pulls it. The smile, the peace, the joy. That was so good. It was so good. I'm honored that I got to watch that. Like, I'm gonna be like so real with you. I'm probably gonna show my kids that, because I'll be like, guys, does that not remind you of how you move? Oh my God, it's so good. So good. Okay. I was born to be abandoned, and the first to embrace me was the river. To save my ailing father, what I must obtain is the life-giving water on the road to the afterlife. My beginning and end, water flows in between. Princess Bari. Kim Jong-chul, also known in our circle as Mr. Purple. Look at him, making it to the end, ready to rap. We're here for it. Let's go.
어디로 가느냐 눈길도 아득히 우린 또 이렇게 가려진 떠돌이 던져진 외톨이 내쳐진 상처투성 찢겨진 가슴 흘린 영혼 외로운 넋이 한번 하늘에 흩어져 칼날 같은 기회에 운명하는 사람아 다리여 다리고서 오나니 다리여 다리여 다리어져 가나니 다리여 다리여 다리고서 오나니 다리여 다리여 다리어져 가나니
Oh my God. Oh, we have to let him finish. Let him finish. Let him cook. Let him cook. Yes, sir. Oh my goodness. Well, firstly, we're gonna write the names down, everybody, because even though for 95% of the entire freaking season I've called him Mr. Purple, we gotta finish it out respectfully with the government name Kim Jong-chul. Here we go, from the jump. I love it that everybody just gets to do what they freaking want. That is what I love. MNET, you got something right. They had a lot of stuff right with the show, and then they just had to play catch up on the corruption. And then we get this. I love this. I love the setup here. Beautiful. I've already said many a times with Korean dance, we're laymen. At least I'm a layman. We get to appreciate the art of it. Talk about the breath, weight placements, the shifts, musicality. I love the weight shift over. Notice the flow that's maintained with the arm. And I love the choice with the wrist. Like, that kind of stuff is beautiful to me. Because with waving, flow, intentionality, how you choose to transfer your energy, the breath of your wave a lot of times is something that is much more of a priority to me in my training than the average Joe who doesn't do waving. So that's why I think I'm naturally drawn to Korean dance so much. And that's why I really want to learn more culturally about it, because I feel like I can naturally integrate some of it within my own movement quality because I'm just so drawn to it. It's just beautiful. But the turnaround, I love that. Of course, he's lifting, great balance, using the wrist. I love the extra. That was like the most elegant, breathy, winged-like wave I've seen today. Gorgeous. The lifting, the twinkling in a very conversational, reach over, and then he flips it around on the piano. Oh, gorgeous. The turn out, he goes, he lunges down. The scoop was gorgeous out of that. He goes da-da-da-da. He reset, he hits it. Guys, this, filthy, that's so good. And then he adds an extra lift, so he hits it as an embellishment on the wrist, and then he chooses to accent it up from the elbows to progress it, and then he takes it, he lets his body go first, and then he lets the rest of the arms kind of tailor to that. So fun. He takes it over one side and then he redirects it the other way. The flick up is really nice. That extra turn on that, and then the extra little yeah, it's just gorgeous. Gorgeous. Takes it, he presents through like sweep around. Then he has a trace across the neck. Oh, so fun. And then we have a little grazing up with the arms. And we represent. I love that. We call it like a one-handed cartwheel, something along those lines. I like the slide across. The tension on this with the hinge is so nice. The reach up, the clasping on the hands is great. Then he resets over. Notice the turned out position of it. The walks. You notice heel with just the toes being so articulated. I'm not used to seeing that as much. I'm not used to seeing that on the toes. Normally it's with the fingers. So I find that so fascinating, being able to appreciate that here. Takes it up. Takes it in, we drop it, very conversational, very pedestrian, right? Then he goes dun dun, and then just the stoic of just the jump on that was so quick, and then the airiness of the fit really makes it gorgeous. His outfit is freaking killer. I would say Korean dance is killing it in the fits, and when it comes to this little round of appreciation of movement, I love banger after banger of fits, man. Contemporary, I think they're killing it on the songs. Oh, man. But then when it comes to ballet, just the appreciation of the growth. Like, it's a win. Everybody wins today. The turn, I love the setup for all of this. Gorgeous. Now that, yeah, we've already had the conversation. That definitely is within the realm of the Korean technique, traditional techniques of being in the air. I love that. And then we have some flow of this. I love the choice. And then the flick up is nice. The walk around. The turn is great. Cartwheel. Goes high in, the commitment to the drop on the knees, bless those knees, but it didn't look labored or intensive or that he hurt himself. It looked very placed, very professional, very trusting that what I'm watching is he understands how his body operates in these positions. So I love having that degree of comfort to watch, to appreciate, not watch out of liability to see if they're going to do something that's going to promote more injury. So I love that. The rolling on the back, and he hits it through, what is it, Pariu, right? And then they lift it up, and then we're now in parallel. We drape it down. The sternum pulls first. He flicks it over to the side, has a little extra breath, drops it down, flicks it up. That right there, just the rigidness of that choice with the leg was so fun. So he hits boom, and then he adds breath back into it here. The turn, he comes up, bum, bum, to hit the down. Oh, the piano on that. He twinkles it in, he flicks it and swings it around, he brings it up, and then he creates beautiful flow. He stops it, and then he collapses it, boom, boom, hitting all of the intensity of our piano. He's hitting in his intensity of torso and posture and levels and angst. It's so fun. He travels it up, da-da-da-da, so it's more itemized. So he itemizes it up the torso. He takes it, he flicks it. I love the phrasing of how he drapes it around the back and across the front. Beautiful planes integrated on that. Takes it up. The turn is nice. He takes it, rotates it down, flicks it. He hits it. That was gorgeous. This whole little section right here, he takes it and he goes flick, flick, and then he walks it forward. Freaking divine. And then he has a nice little moment. He rotates, and then he goes, shoo, he's cupping something along water. That's what it was in the description. And he has it near and dear to his heart. Freaking bonkers, my guy. Goodness. So I could see Jung Chul making it to the final lineup too. I forgot how many people actually make it in. Is it 12? I don't know, but 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, so far out of everybody, I have like 6 that are very like, they're gonna make it in because of just their natural exposure on the show, their consistency, just the fact that we see them as much as we do, and there's still quite a few more that we're about to tackle too. But I feel like with everybody, everyone's just so great, and I think anybody who goes to that concert, you're gonna be left, you know, I bet it's even 15,000 times better in person. If I'm feeling this way, and it's on a freaking video, I can only imagine what it feels like in real life. My God. Anyway, I created a small stage smaller than my body and envisioned a marionette performance using my fingers. When looking at my hands, a tiny performance begins, and when seeing my whole self, it carries the dual meaning of controlling and manipulating myself. Marionette. Okay. I wonder if he's going to integrate more breaking in his choices, because he was able to in his choreography from the previous round, and I appreciated that we got to see more of it. I really feel like from what they told us in the beginning, we get to see it more and more appreciated and actually more in the forefront in those choices, which is why I'm curious if we're going to do that. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. And also, I feel like I got to have Shazam up because he's in the contemporary realm. What song is he going to pick? I don't know. But I'm ready. Let's go. Ballsy. God, I love it. Better freaking pop off on that. Yo, that was so cool. That was freaking awesome. That was awesome. So risky, right? But also, I think that's part of the charm, I think, that he brings, is the fact that you don't quite know what he's gonna do. And I love the fact that this feels like him, like when we saw him in the sub leader group for Squid Game. I think that was my favorite section I think I've ever seen him in, was in that little feature moment. It was so cool, doing the backspin. So fun and childlike, really fit the concept well. I loved the risk taking here. And a lot of people do not realize how difficult it is to isolate your fingers and syncopate them in the way that he was doing. So we're going to talk about it. Here we go. We got it set up. He's getting it all ready to go. He's already established a storyline where he's getting it wrapped up, unfurling the strings to descend onto himself. So he's controlling himself. So we got to turn the music down so we can talk about it. So this position, it gives that impression, if you've looked at a marionette kind of stick-like controlling thing that you see, that vibe. I know that's not what it's called. I'm so sorry. You can tell what my lane's in. That's what that's giving, that pantomimed perspective. It makes it feel he's controlling it. And I love the focus that he has. He doesn't look at camera. He looks at it, and it just, that's all we're looking is right here for the entire minute. It's amazing. Anyway, so it folds down. He brings it right back up. He flicks it up. So you hear that da-da-da-da. So he's hitting everything in syllable here. And even though some people are like, oh, he's only doing this, it's polyrhythmic the whole time. All of this is completely different. Can you imagine doing a whole minute of solid, just, I don't know, one's controlling at all times and then he'll do the same thing ever? That's impressive. Then he hits, da-da-da, like the freaking isolation of different fingers with one of them pursuing a different plane. Like, that to me is freaking wild with this going on as well. The amount of discipline it takes to do this. He's flicking the camera off though. And he resets it, the knees drop on it, he presents back up. So let's talk about what kind of vibe he's presenting. They go, little passe moment. I think it's this passe, right? And then we drop to the knees, bring it right back up, and then a little flick out is cool. He should totally, if we needed a dance for Thing for Wednesday or for Adam's Family, hire him. I mean, this is great. So the pickup there, and then he isolates the little pickup of the pinky to help isolate more of the other hand. So we do have this common theme of the dropping onto the knees, which I find interesting. Then he hits it over, boom, boom. It's like he's cutting something or rotating it around, and then they both are complementing. That's one of the only times you see them do the same thing, right? So it goes down and up, which is also nice to see. He flicks it in. I like the fist, and he kicks it, so I love that choice too. And then he ends up walking, which is cute. And then it hops in, and I love this. So it does end up, I think, going into a knuckle wave is what we would call that. And then he twists it to help create another moment to step out of it. And then it goes into finger tutting. And then he has to make sure it goes out enough so it's an in-between like this. And then you have created a nice little square on that as well. And then he goes and he resets it to plant onto the hand, twinkling it in. Magic is what that feels like, right? Then he takes it from the thumb. Part of this is fun because I'm having to do it too, to really talk through what he's doing and not just say the same thing. So he's interlocking, rotating with this hand. This hand is still your focus though. And then this one's crawling up. Then we've created, okay, we're establishing dominance again. We're descending this again. And then it rotates to reset. We flatten it. This goes to fist. This goes to flat. Different, right? And then we have it up. Da-da-da. Duh. Oh man, this is wild. And then we flick it out, and then we bring it in. I like how he closes it here, and it closes it there. And then we do a little walk, and it goes ding, ding, ding. Now we back to Marionette, little positioning. Then he goes dee, 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 dee. Ooh, that is quick on the little trots on that. And he folds it in, bum, bum, bum. So like that, it presents him back up. Then we flick it in, little passe again. Out, done, done, done. So it goes thumb, out, done. It's cute. Then we pick it up, passe, and then we go trot and trot, fold it down, back up with the thumb. Like, gosh, this is so fun to talk about. And then they lift up from the pinky, and then the pinky goes out to the inside. He knocks it, folds him down. Oh, then we go into the fist on this. Now this guy's now taking control. He's folding over to the side. We walk. Thumbs up over here. He's like, what are you doing? The pinky acts as an arm. He's crawling in. I like the articulation and separation of the fingers for that moment to get it folded down to the flat. He folds in. Now the one that was controlling did the fold in of the knees. Then he takes it. He's stepping on it. Boom, promotes it to a fist. And then it goes dee 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 dee. That's impressive. Ta-da, just that alone. Golly, if you have arthritis, good luck learning this. Okay, dee dee dee. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. And he goes da 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 da, and it hits the music that da 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 da. So you hear when it's resetting, he's matching it too. He's not just doing random stuff. Everything matches with just the subtle drop matches the track quite well. He followed the freaking assignment, is what this is. And then they go da da da. Yeah, hit and they flick it up. And then he takes it in, the fist, he presents, he curls it in, he pulls it up, and he says, ta-da! And then hand behind the back, arm embellished to the side. This was awesome. I love the fact that he had the power to do it. MNET didn't stop him, and we got to appreciate what this was, because this was incredible. Carmen. A closed mouth, no fly can enter from Carmen. The novel Carmen tells the story of a man, Don Jose, who falls into ruin due to a femme fatale, the woman Carmen. Women. I'm just kidding. The choreography focuses on the keyword desire. It was intended to offer a dual interpretation, either as Don Jose or as Carmen. That is fascinating. Hyojun, our Mr. Sign Language himself. I am excited for this. Let's go!
heart, but you won't hear my soul.
We decided to go Nick Jonas?
Taste till the break and I can't get more.
It's Chains, yes.
You got me in chains. You got me in chains for your love, but I wouldn't change.
I wouldn't
I
change
wouldn't change
this
this
love.
You got me in chains. You got me in chains for your love, but I wouldn't change.
Are we gonna do the breakdown too? Yeah.
Trying to break the chains, but the chains only bring me. Chains only bring me. Alone in the night till she knocks on my door. Oh no, wasted again, but I can't say no. No, baby, tell me why you do me wrong. Baby, tell me why you do me wrong. Gave you my heart, but you took my soul.
So interesting. Now, I have choreographed to the song before. It was one of the first choreographies I ever did in my career as a choreographer. So this song hits in a really fun way. That's why I clocked it early. Ooh, it was so fun. But let me see. Kim, we gotta, even though as much as I want to give him his is the most nicknamed of nicknames. I've always called him never by his real name, but we're gonna call him Hyojun. Kim Hyojun. Fantastic job, sir. It's so interesting listening, like whenever you do choreography on tracks, it's always so fascinating watching how people of different genres, because he has a heavy Korean dance background, right? How he chooses to interpret certain sounds or certain parts of the music that in your head you prioritize that may be different than in his head, but both can be respected, right? It's so interesting. So from the jump, grabbing, attaching his finger to his mouth, so interesting, right? The meltdowns are cool. I love the time to the side. Then he hits it, boom, gave you my heart. That head ISO in this army at fixed point to that angle is really cool. The swing is cool. And he hits it, I like the rotation on the wrist is fun. He hits it up, the bass on this. Then he hits it over to the side on the shoulder. It hit, boom, boom, boom. Nice on the accent there. No. He grabs it on the mouth. Ugh, so interesting, right? The rotation through, I love that little rotation, that little added extra. It's like, it is a subconscious fixed point, and I do think with the elbow, I feel like part of it does contribute to the fact it's a Korean dance background, because I see that as an overlap in a lot of the Korean dance affiliates, right? So it's so fun. I love how it adds to this tension, right? Then you travel it up, so he doesn't really have a lot of weight on that right leg, and you don't really need to. It's all on the standing leg, right? So how we're going and rotating it, where we're just kind of shifting it aggressively on that right side is really fun. Switching up that tie. He lifts it up, boom, chains for your love, and then he brings it out to the side, but I wouldn't change all of that. Oh, we love that little wrist added on. Swim around is nice. And then I love how he picks up the legs on that with a little extra, just extra fullness in the upper body is so nice to see there. They kick, and then the quickness on the rotation on the torso. Then he does it once again on the not really breath, but he creates sustaining and like a suspension on it, right? And then the cartwheel, and then from there, that second one, he ends up holding on to that leg, and he ends up shooting over into a cartwheel again. So fun. The walk around is nice. He turns. Love that. Just the fact that his body was parallel to the freaking ground when his legs went wee. Gorgeous. He says, shaking it out. Here we go. Ugh, and there's a whoom. You hear that sound? I love how he lifts the arms. Then he goes boom, trying to break the chains. It's interesting that we chose to more so hinge it first to set up versus like a body roll on it, but I don't mind it. And then chains, and then we connect on the wrist, but the chains only bring me. This breakdown is so freaking good. This is a really good song from Nick Jonas. Side note, it's good. I feel like I need to revisit this song. It's been I think it's been 10 years, actually, now that I think about it. Almost 10 years, because I just graduated. Yeah, almost 10 years when the song came out. I think. I like the kick, the flick, and the accent. It was when he tried to go solo. You saw. He's still with the Joe Bro still. I love that with the kick, and he rotates, and I like the little extra kick over to the side, and the little flick up, just the quickness and the unhingedness about this is so fun. He swings up, and then we go bring it down, the swing around, the lift up of the leg, and I love to swipe on it. He ends up doing it again, but I think it's a different leg this time. So first one was the right leg, and then he does the left leg. I love that. That was a cool. And then he accents, instead of hitting when you normally are on your stomach and he hit down, he hit it out on the side on the fist, which was cool. And then he pushes it up and forces his body over. That was cool. Then he rotates it through on that whirl sound, and I like how he kind of hit that in range in our arms, and he grabs, so he has that tie, boom, and the night knocks up my door, and I like the rotation around on that leg, using the other one as a fixed point. And then this right here, that's your contemporary little worm. I love it. And then he goes up to his shoulder stand. I thought that's how he was going to finish, because he was holding it for a long time. So impressive, though. Yeah, he hits it up. No. Hey, I'm all for holding a position for a long period of time. If you can commit it in stage presence and movement quality and a justification of concept, sure, do it. And that's, that's what we're seeing. Come on now. I like the baby tell me why. So I like how we're building it up. And then you hit on the bass. Boom. I hit the baby tell me why you do me wrong. I really was a heavy tone person. Early on in my career, I really cared a lot about how words were being said, more so than what was going on in the backbeat. So I like the fact that he chose to go the bass route, because my head, because it's been so long, the beauty is maybe I could hear the song a little differently than how I used to, but also part of it is because it's such a staple track in my career as an artist, of somebody who's done choreo to it. It's just hard to sometimes disassociate from core choreo memories, right? Anyway, but that's fine. I thought, boom, do me wrong. He takes it over, and then you have this little vibration, this angsty moment. Man, it's low-key giving like a, not Godfather, but it is giving that kind of mafia unhinged vibe. And he grabs, and then he grabs here. Oh, I like that. Just definitely whenever you have somebody pull down like that, the angstiness of that, and then we reset. Boom. So subtle. Well done. I mean, I think that was freaking great. I love whenever we get to see people risk take like that. It's so fascinating, right? And part of me wants him to make it to the final lineup, because I just, out of like personal preference, I loved the fact that even though he's not like as well known as some of the other heavy hitters in this group of incredible movers, his choreo stuck out so well, and I really wanted to be rewarded for that, honestly. But I mean, this was fantastic. I think everybody's choreo is great. Everyone's choreo is great, and I love making videos like this because it's just easy for me to appreciate. There's no qualms to be had. I think this is awesome. All right, next one up. I play only for one person. I dance only for one person, for no one else before myself. Always the same. Dobagi. Here we go. This is Shin Min Kwan. Boom. Turn it up. Ready. You see how clear his fingers were on that? Beautiful double cabriole. I don't know if that was a cabriole per se, because he ended up going that beautiful passes. Yeah. Yes. Uh-huh. Beautiful. Yes. He's gotten better too. And choreographing. Love it. Yes. It's so much more connected, and the flow is very nice. Yes, you better. Yes, sir. Beautiful chaînés. Tendu, walk back. Yep. Wow. What growth. And I like the little pedestrian finish too. That was awesome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, sir. There we go. From the jump, the extension in the back. Of course, he has it. It's not really winged out or anything. It's not really, I mean, it's kind of like a tendu. If that, it's fine. I love from here, you have just the subtlety of the tone of the piano. And then I love how we have our wrists enter the chat. From there, we establish the line, and I love the trace down to establish a contrasting angle. And I like how he places it down and how he looks there. It's very nice and easy for us to see. Détourné around. I don't know if was it a soutenu. Sometimes it's just it can get so hybrid. I think that's it. I think I'm gonna pull that as a détourné. So we're gonna call that in the lift. I love the little arabesque moment. He turns. I love that choice with the wrist to help make that a fun, extra embellished rotational element in that. He presents over. Boom, boom. Look at the shoulders. Look at the fact we use in our torso. This right here. The fact he's looking, I like the fact that he's looking with his eyes, even though his head's not like matching it. Gorgeous. Like it's so conversational and it's so captivating in performance. And he finishes, he goes boom, boom. He lets it go up. Beautiful port de bras. And he turns out of it right there to get us into a just tendu derriere. And we have our arm right across the face. The breath on that's really nice. And so for me, that right there, that's just it's not just there's like a double cabriole. I thought was two beats on the same side. Can you do a cabriole when you switch? Because that's what that is he's switching. Andra Shakot. I think that's an Andra Shakot. I apologize if I was wrong. It's an Andra Sha something. I think it's an Andra Shakot from one side to the other. I could be wrong. So sorry. We call those beat beats. You can go beat beat. Anyway, so he goes, turns out of it. Beautiful. That right there. Calypso, baby. We love that. Little passe. Back attitude. Gorgeous with the port de bras. Little passe, passe. And then he ends up doing a little beat beat on that second one. He does a, oh my gosh, that feel was an ande, was that an ande? Oh, he just goes towards the, no, that was right. It was ande dawn. Cool. Yeah, that works. And then he goes pirouette, beautiful float. And he finishes in the fourth with tendu. Gorgeous. I love the développé on that. Beat on that again. There's your développé, more stylized the second time. He presents, beautiful. Back attitude for that. He grabs over, more angsty this time. He opens up the knees to a straddle. The lift is nice from here. Gorgeous, guys. Like, he rotates it through. I love right there on the back. The fact we got floor work with ease, my guys. With the extra breath on that, too. He hits it. Whoa, look at that angsty contemporary element right here with some angst on the torso. And I like how we fan the legs over. Really nice threading through with the arms. I think we threaded through. Hold on. No, we didn't. We just we graced it over the top, which is nice. The look is nice. Forward roll. Who'd have thought, guys? With the beautiful tense trace on the base of the palm. Gorgeous. Right there, right by the head. He's getting ready. Pulls it to above a 90. We'll probably give him a 100-degree on that. And then we go to a passe with a sustained, great balance. He steps, chaînés, he finishes, he does a subtle walk back. I love that he looks up. Ron jumps and then he hits it, boom. And he basically Oreo cookied it a little bit. So he kind of reset whatever he did near the beginning, he's doing right here. And then he finishes with a beautiful, beautiful allongé. Guys, you want to talk about progress? This right here was freaking progress. Well done. The fact that you got a ballet dancer pulling floor work like this, and it's clean. Sheesh, my guy. Goodness gracious. So Shin Min Kwan. Shin Min Kwan. Very proud of you, sir. You've done your style well. You've done your movement quality well. You've done your growth well. We love to see it. Fantastic, sir. In my small world, anxiety and fear have become natural companions, and this pain surrenders in the presence of comfort and peace. Unstable movements in my body itself prove my existence. Imperfectly perfect. Now, based on this first phrase, it does remind me of Mad World. It sounds like, oh, it's contemporary too. Here we go. Yoon Hyuk Jong. Ready. Look how elite he is. He's not really elite. He's in shorts, so it's fine. What kind of song is it?
Hey Jude, don't make it bad.
Okay.
Take a sad song and make it better. Remember to let her into your heart. Then you can start to make it better.
I wish I had that confidence to dance with just the bare minimum.
Be afraid. You were made to go out and get her. The minute you let her under your skin, then you begin to make it better, better, better,
Na 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 na. Hey Jude. Wow. Wow. I will say, out of everyone, his feels the closest to the movement quality, like, that I'm familiar with him. Because whenever I remember him from auditions with the contemporary side and his improv, that felt so similar, but there's more maturity in it, obviously because of just the sheer amount of growth he's experienced, for sure. But I loved that. The fact that we have that to celebrate too, where it's like, this feels so Hyukjong, right? Hyukjung, sorry. Ooh, goodness. My pronunciation can be better. Out the gate, starting with a beautiful lunge. The confidence to pull this type of fit is staggering. I wish in my lifetime I could even remotely have the confidence to even attempt to do this. But alas, your girl will live in oversized hoodies and feeling very comfortable there. But anyway, I can admire this through and through. I love that reach there. Put that on a t-shirt, sir. Make that your wallpaper. That's dope. And right there where you are on the stage fighter sign is really, really nice. Now I'm actually trying to just make sure that... Hey Jude. I like the suspension on that where he's holding it. Okay, yeah, so it's the Beatles. Cool. Yeah, I mean, I knew Hey Jude was the Beatles. Just wanted to make sure this was like, I think this is the original. Maybe. Okay, I think so. But I digress. I really like the fact that he was able to have a sense of suspension on that through the arm to where we can have this kind of angsty moment here. Like, that's really cool in contrast. And then he ends up pulling it up, which is nice. Beautiful power on the standing leg here. He walks that sad sun, the pull from the torso, make it better, and he throws it on that last one to hit that the run. He throws the arms up where he's looking. We're here for. He throws, it goes out in, little brush on the shoulders is nice. He throws the arms up and he presents forward, grabs right there towards the sternum again, traces it down, presents out. Strength, prowess, boom, boom, arms. We rotate through and we pull, boom, better. A lot of thrusting of the head behind us. I love that in the performance quality of it. He takes it, rotates it around, drops it low. Hey Jude, and he's looking out and around. I love that. Just his angle is very, very nice and complimentary to a lot of his choices. He's just dancing. It feels so vulnerable, but I think part of it is just what he's wearing alone. It's just, there is nothing to hide. Do you know what I mean? And you can see every line and definition of his legs and his arms and his core and his back. And so you can really go subtle on choices and you can really feel them a little bit deeper than sometimes clothing can kind of hide, you know? And so there's beauty in both. But I think that's a really interesting component of this, that this would look different if he was wearing something differently. But that's what makes it, you know, so cohesive cohesive and collaborative in where he's at here on this, which is really fun. The reach on there, the grab is nice. He does a little ronajambe around. I love the twinkling of the fingers. He goes in, placement down. He rotates it around, and they pull it through. And I like how from here he has it established, and then he puts his body through that that accent point with those arms. It's gorgeous. I love the fan with that nice little accent on the top. It goes out, in, and then we rotate up and around. Beautiful. And then we bleed up the arms. Notice the fingers, the follow through. We love that. Grabbing the head, present. Really nice. Unmatching tone. We shampoo that arm around. We push. I love the extension on that leg is nice. The brush around. The swing is great. Throw. We drop. We turn. We push. And we grab to it. And we pull in. So we have a lot of these energies, right? But how they're presented a lot of times they're subtly different. And I like that, where you have a little bit more of an angsty start on this end, but a little bit earlier, the head was a bigger accent point. So I can definitely receive and appreciate this. So the swing is up, is nice, and he lifts it up, and then he takes that leg, folds it down, pushes through. I love the fact that we're building in the track, but he's going more of the controlled route. Very powerful. I love that, and he's letting the face commit to it in the suspension, and notice he's committing all the way through the fall onto the knee, and he holds it there, and I love the tension on this. It's very anticlimactic in the movement side, but man, oh man, is it captivating in the performance side. Look at this. Gorgeous. That's where I'm seeing a lot of maturity from him, and growth is from the performance side. So much. It's amazing. Arms up, twinkling it in. I like how he rotated around. And then we have a twinkle of the arms, Ranajam. We go, beautiful calypso, and I love how he lets his range on his arms just clock it to the back to make it a really fun moment. He rolls on the floor, and then we do a nice little just extra breath, letting the elbow and that back do the talking. He's looking at those hands, which allows us to want to look at them too. He turns through. I love that illusion with the turn. Nice straight leg, the lift of the arms. We pull in, and then we create this. Really, it definitely gives like an alien-esque abstract position. It's technically, I think that's a rooftop lower body. It's so interesting. He grabs the neck, but notice the one reason why that felt so how it did was because you had no fabric that was covering up these nuances in his torso. It's so cool with the reverb at the end. I'm gonna tell you right now, I would probably nail my head on my knee if I dropped that quickly like that. So good for him for matching the space and not hitting his knee and concussing himself, because I've had dancers do that, and I bet you I would do that on accident at some point. So well done to this. He should be. He freaking has been consistent in showing up and showing out. So we got to write the government name down. Man, we are killing it here in appreciating and loving and living in these movement qualities, guys. And if you've made it this far, go get a cookie, go take a breather, and you can come back when you're ready. Or you can just hang out and push through. I mean, I know these are dense stuff, but man, is there so much beauty on this to talk through, right? All right, I have a feeling it's going to be a ballet style. Ballerino. I was a ballerino, I am a ballerino, and I will be a ballerino. Okay, I'm game. Yep, it is, in fact, a ballerino. Jong Song Uk. So, we're going to go ahead, write the name down. I have a feeling that I can totally see him pulling a spot on the show. I think personally, I have loved seeing him as the Angel Swan. That was one of the most captivating roles I've ever seen this man in. And he's still very captivating, but that's just such a pinnacle movement quality for me for him. Here we go. Beautiful. Yes. I love it. Beautiful. Nice. beautiful. His cabriolets were incredible. Gotta waltz it. Let's go. Balances. Yes. Wow. Beautiful tourgette. Shanae, sir. Oh. Oh. Love it. Love it, sir. He did very well with this. I love it. He met his own assignment on that through and through. He said, I'm a ballerino. I used to be, I still am, and I will be. Oh, he said past, present, and future on this, boy. What you want? Oh, so good. Here we go. From the top. And it is the most ballet structured routine we have seen in a hot minute. This is awesome. You do see it like a smidgen of contrast and some choices. We saw a little embellishment of other styles involved, but heavy, heavy ballet for sure. I like the presentation in the back, the look, boom. I love how he presents up. He's like, look, welcome to Stage Fighter. I'm representing ballet. Get in line. Love it. The amount of confidence here is gorgeous. He presents over to the side. Great tendu. The walks are nice. Great stage presence is nice. Now he's in a fifth. He presents down, steps back. I like that even in his choices and how he's phrasing them do match the flow of the track quite well. It really feels like he made his own variation on a ballet. Like, I do feel like this is his choreo, but how it is structured is very much like what you would see in a soloist in a ballet performance, which I do feel ties into the ballerino effect because of the structure of what he's normally used to operating in, is being a practitioner of these set variations. So I am very much a fan of that. Did he just make his own? Do it, sir. Presents in the fifth. He goes high, low. Nice porte bras on that. He presents. Nice little pas de bourrée. He does nice little beats on that. I've called those like, it's not, that's what? Is that a frappe? No, I mean, frappe is a strike. No, he's just, oh my gosh, there's a, I always feel bad whenever I can't think of it off the top. It's just been such a hot minute and a half. It's not, so like he does a whole cabriole section, which was gorgeous. I think we're just going to call those beats, right? We're going to call those today, where he's beating the foot. And what's really funny is that you notice me doing this. So many teachers and ballet, if you've taken dance, if you've taken ballet, you've had a teacher that went, telling you. I wonder if that struck like 15,000 memories for you, because it sure did for me. Anyway, so little renajams were really nice. I love how he looks down. He takes the leg. He extends it to the back. Beautiful, beautiful arabesque. And the lift up into the passe was gorgeous. Extension was nice. A little flick. Ba-bum, ba-bum. I love that choice. Ba-dum, ba-bum. I love how he lets his upper body just flow with it. It's gorgeous. Beautiful. A la second. No, my God, no. A la second position grand plie. Very nice. And then from here, he presents his crown. He says, what you want? Let's go. Switch up. Really nice. Double. Finish into a back arabesque, which is nice. The turn is nice. And he renajams. Good port de bras round. Then a double tour. Presents. Here we go. Da, da, da. He says, let me brush the haters away. We begin. Da, 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 da. So I like it's not a dégagé, is it? Da, 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 da. Yeah, just that pas de bourrée. Nice little just pick up there. Picks up. I like the envelope. And then he does a little beat there. He goes. 1, 2, 3, 4. And he renajams it around to finish. He presents forward. Double cabriole. He ends up going front, back, front. Come on, sir. He presents. He goes present. Then he goes into that's a waltz. Call it a waltz step. And then he ends up reversing, which finds to be very interesting. Then he ends up doing a double. It feels like a double tour, doesn't it? Yeah? Where he goes, then he goes, have it, wee! Love that. He does a little kick out of it, which is beautiful. He presents, and then he folds in those wings. He goes in. I like the presentation out with that arabesque. He goes into a tourgette. Gorgeous. Then he turns chanes, and then he presents, finishes in a fifth, and then he takes it up, and then he hits it over to the side, and he looks up. Part of me was thinking he was about to fix it, but he never did, which I think is totally fine. He goes up, and he goes over, and he looks. I love that. Very nice, quirky finish. And I love the fact he probably has some tattoos hanging out over here. I think he has one there, if I remember that correctly. But in general, I love the fact he's like, screw it, I'm a ballet dancer, and literally just popped the freak off is what that was. Oh, so fun. Well done, sir. I can see him as an individual for making it on the final lineup, because he does have a heavy pull for the public, which I think is absolutely fine, because he caught my attention, like I said, whenever he got Angel Swan. Like he was phenomenal in that role. Goodness. Finally, into a handful of earth, the fullness of life, I fear it become a mere trace, so I fled, clutching time, watching myself return. Death asked me, how will you live? Oh, I don't know. I mean, we're going to go ahead and let's just write his name down. Oh my gosh. Choi Ho Jong. Why can't I no, it's not English, it's Korean. Why can't I Korean today? Still working on my Hangul Jong. Cool. We're gonna circle him. He's making it on that lineup. He's gonna be he is the lineup. Do you know what I mean? Like, we just get to appreciate him just freaking make art. Here we go. Ready. And that's how he chooses to freaking finish. Oh. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. It's times like these where I really wish I was more proficient at Korean dance so I could properly articulate how freaking awesome that was. Okay, here we go. From the jump, if you've been, a layman as I in this process, we've learned that there's beauty in the placement of weight, as well as the heels to ball of the foot, the breadth of it. This was incredible, beautiful. I love it. I love his commitment. I love his commitment to the process, his commitment to himself. I have so much respect for an individual like him. I have a lot of respect as well for what we have seen. I mean, in order for me to really know how I vibe with these guys is if I met them in real life. That would be the only case of that, which you never know. But based on the kind of things we've been able to glean together, there's a lot of humility, but he has a lot of influence and power in his choices and how he moves. It's so captivating, majestic, and I really love the fact he chose to go this route for his final choreo that we're seeing here, at least, because it allows me the privilege of we're basically going back into a handful of earth, back into Hojong is known for this, right? Like, we've seen him showcase so much variety in other facets, and I've really enjoyed his choreography. But man, seeing this on a track of his choosing, doing movement of his choice, hits just like with some of our guys, like on the contemporary side. I really felt that way. That feels this way right here with him. It's like we get to see Holjong in his element on his terms. Welcome. Like, it's really cool. Yes, there's pressure, but the subtle lifts, the connection is gorgeous. And what I love too is when he makes these choices, they don't feel labored. The fact this leg keeps going to where he can press it against his chest. Little things like that are gorgeous, because a lot of times people can't get their leg up that high because of that hip, right? And that back outside of the quad. Like, it's just gorgeous, right? And the tension and the lift on that, and the fact he's goes for it. Normally, when you see somebody hit, you see them just ball change out of it. He said, I'm going to go to the floor. Thank you, though. Which is just another degree of captivation that feels different. His feels different than the Haehyun's. Haehyun has this unpredictability about his setups, even though his setups are predictable to him, which is so fascinating. And there's a sense of he's able to do really powerful, majestic things, but they feel seamless and they don't have a sense of strain about them. Here, for the performance quality of what he's going for, the fact is, it looked like he could very easily hurt himself, but that's the commitment to character about it, right? Like that part right there, the extra pulse on the tail end of the hip to be used there, the reset into the Z, and then notice he uses that to speed change into one of these mannerisms that you see in Korean dance so often. It's beautiful. And the lifting of the knee and how he's looking, the lifting, like the contrast of the foot, the fact you can articulate, he goes in and out, he taps it down, that boom. I can hear clearly what we're going on right there with that leg. He folds it in, we step it up. I love the presentation right there of the wrist. The tap there, that is so freaking sick. The taps on this. Tap, tap, where it goes from the base of the palms into the back of the palms, man. He turns it over, and I like the presentation with the head, rotating it over to the side. There's so much, this is culture. Like, this to me is like culture in probably one of the most captivating forms of it. Like, it feels like there's so much respect for the foundation in which he learned these techniques, to where he can showcase his perspective so beautifully, innovatively, that ties into making and maintaining the history of it, but packaging it in a way that feels relatable to those that may have never experienced life in a lens like this. It's so fascinating to look at. It's such a, you don't have to know what you're looking at to appreciate the beauty of it, right? And if it causes an emotional response out of you, it's done its job. Whether you like it or you don't, it's done its job. Does that make sense? This, to me, it's beautiful. I respect the crap out of this. The connection there, his musicality is divine. I've always respected and appreciated his musicality choices and how he threaded that whole sequence through, and he used his chin to knock that sound. God, it's so good. Rotates that head around and he hits it, and then he unpredictably uses his arm to hit another sound to rotate it through. It's little things like that too. He holds it in. He's never stopped the flow. Gorgeous. My waving heart is like soaring, because that's something that we have to keep in mind often, is that when you choose to be still, how are you going to be still? Like, how he's going, it's just going and going and going. And he goes where a lot of times most people stop. He goes even further to completion. Amazing. So the twinkling of the fingers, I love that. The turnaround is nice. He resets. I love the lift. And even right here, it's similar to what we've already kind of seen him do in the very beginning, but notice that the direction's subtly different. How he's communicating is different. And the posture in which he's set up in it is different. So it's just, I love it. We can talk about this all freaking day. And from there, he keeps it up and he swings it down. It lifts around, he hits it up and around and over. You hear this sound in the back. It feels like something is building, it's occurring, right? So we have that tension that's slowly building more and more. There's more saturation of that sound that's entering in, right? And he lifts it up and he hits it boom, and I love that fullness there. Honestly, what this feels like to me in the Korean dance hybrid realm reminds me of Bitter Earth from Contemporary. There's like Bitter Earth, and then you have these like da-da-da. There's like it's not really a spoken word, but it's like spoken song, I guess is the best way to word it. Like there's that kind of tension and strain that it feels. That's what this reads to me in that way, and I say that out of the most utmost respect for the fact that we get to watch this. It's so good. He hinges it around. Notice that we have more syncopation opportunities, and I love how he holds it up, and then he twinkles, rotates it down. I love that, and he knocks it on the ground, and he has a reverb, not really reverb, but like a subtle rebound that comes from the hips. He grabs the face. I love that, and then the fact that he grabbed his garment and the bottom is nice. He lifts it and he goes, and you see, and the reason why he lifted it is so you can really see this contrast of that hip there, and the commitment to character is incredible in those lifting up and over. The turn is nice. You see just the power in his rotation, and then having him have such vulnerability in his choice and abstract positioning into force and technique is so commendable. So commendable. This part was gorgeous. Dun, dun, dun. I don't even think the camera clocked how good that was. Look, ready? So he rotates it. He hits it. It's so freaking fast. It goes boom, boom. Freaking kill that. And he hits it down. Boom. He kicks it back. Love that little back attitude. He ball changes. Boom. Speed change. He steps it. I love the little kicks to the back. Gorgeous. He turned. Boom. And then he presents. Boom. Fingers. Fingers matter. Love it. He presents over to the side. Ball change to rotate. He takes it off. And then he had I feel like there's a cello in this. I think that's what I love the song on this a lot. And that's probably what is drawn to me about it, which also caters to the Bitter Earth that normally gets tailored onto a track, is that it's not really a cello, it's more of a violin on that one, but I love me a good string, and a string that swings like that. And the fact he let the garment speak for that. The garment dropping to hit that sound. Filthy. So good. And he looks at it and he just walks. And what we're looking at here is this. We're looking at how his body is micro shifting to the tension of the track, because he showcased so much prowess, so much technical efficiency. This wasn't a priority until he took that off, and he's looking down. So where are we looking? He's not looking at himself. Where else can we look? We can't look at his hands. We're looking where his chest is. Then we see, you notice whenever you see somebody who's struggling to breathe, or they're shifting because something feels off in the body, where are we going to look? The source of where the concern is, which is the body. Notice that you see the diaphragm tuck underneath the ribs, and you create that tension, the openness. Notice the fingers, the crossover. He's bleeding down, and he decided to finish in this position where he has to hold it and fold in like a pretzel. Oh, Lord, have mercy on that. To me, from one educator to another, I do think he's a teacher. He's a teacher, right? Yeah, he is. Of course he is. We have one of his students he competed against. It was awesome. I loved that moment for him. From one individual to another, in the dance world, when it comes to giving a crap about your music and giving a crap about your art and your students, I have so much respect for a man like that. He could dance to the Yellow Pages, the phone book. He could dance to silence. And what's so interesting is he has defied the power of MNET. Or maybe MNET was just, they picked their battles, because he was very well known in this field before he joined. So MNET, being a Korean platform, repping Korean dance, they had a very interesting choice to make. They could set him up as whatever narrative they wanted to make of him. But they chose the route of actually maintaining integrity for the style of Korean dance. And Hojong has become one of the pillars of recognized familiarity for the general public who's had the privilege of watching the show. It makes sense why he's so popular. Because MNET was smart. And they chose to have him set up in a way where he is phenomenal as a practitioner. As a choreographer, his hybrids are just truly remarkable for the types of tracks he's been doing. And the fact that we can look at this and recognize the beauty, the power, the artistry, even if I am a layman in this field specifically, there's no critiques to be had with that, right? And there were more times than not, honestly, when I would hear some of the judges on the show, they would give notes to him and say he didn't meet their expectations for a round. I went up to bat so fast because at the end of the day, it is not fair to Hojong to meet everyone's expectations. He recognizes the responsibility and the weight of the pressure of the expectation, but he doesn't inherently have to meet it because it's not his job to meet your expectation, meet your judge's expectation, because that's subjective and that's not fair to him because you're not setting other people up to that same degree of expectation, only him. So for me, I love the fact that he went this route. He technically surpassed expectation for people, but for me, I think I come from the position sometimes whenever I watch movers that I respect, and I really hope to have the privilege of meeting some of these guys in real life one day and just have conversation because I learned so much about somebody that way. I always find it an honor to be in a position to look and watch, to process, to glean, to be inspired, to be captivated by, and to grow as an educator, to grow as an artist. I love being put in these positions. It's humbling to me to watch somebody who is so proficient at his craft have such a humble approach to it. The humility comes from laying down the pride of not having to look so stoic all the freaking time. That's what I notice. His breathability, the fact he can drop the risk taking on using a garment to justify a musicality note, tricky. Commitment. The fact you choose to balance at your finish, incredible. The fusion of his choices, like it's so, yeah, it's so commendable. I am honored to be in this position, to be able to appreciate even a fraction of what we were just graced with. Thank you. Not just with him, but with so many of those representing Korean dance. I have been delighted to finally get such a beautiful, beautiful introduction into the craft. Truly. This is amazing. I thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this with me. If you are a contestant on the show, I would love to hear from you, whether it's on Instagram or here. I have thoroughly enjoyed going alongside not just the contestants, but the adjudicators, but also those of you that have chosen to walk through this with me, be on the Patreon side to watch the episodes with me. We do have a couple episodes left, and there's a chance we're going to have more. There's a good chance we may have more like group routines or something along those lines, but we have these solos right here. This, to me, is such a beautiful representation of growing humans that I've seen in a long time. This is why I marathon groups, K-pop groups, is because you get to simulate growth at an expedited rate. And here we get to see them over a multiple month period of being saturated in multiple genres outside of their own, be able to encompass and showcase their own artistry in various ways and become inspired by others. I feel like I get to grow so much by doing what I do here as a result of that. So I'm looking forward to the discussions on this. Which ones were your personal favorites? I would say, for me, out of sheer respect for Holjong through and through, that was phenomenal. I would say Kim Young-wook was in the top for me for today. Yu-chan's was gorgeous. Haehyun, I think, left me borderline speechless. It made me upset of how good that was. Yeah, just through and through, some of the most beautiful things we've gotten to see today. And I look forward to the discussions on this. Y'all know me, I know you. I'm Jess, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye.